It's an enormous winter of sport right around the world at the moment. The Swans are taking on St Kilda at the Sydney Cricket Ground. There's some Thursday night NRL just around the corner. The Aussies are facing India at the Oval. But our focus for the next 3 hours, well, first up, is on the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit here in Victoria for round 8 of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club Production Car Series as Thursday Night Motorsport ignites across our platforms. Then, of course, we're on to the third last round of the Porsches. And the treacherous streets of Long Beach await us there. We're very excited about that. Good evening, everybody. I'm Zach Caban alongside Grant Gill. Welcome to Thursday Night Motorsport. This is the 8th of June, 2023. Only this and 2 more weeks to go to decide who the champions are going to be across all of our different series, of course, on a Monday night. Tantalising prospect there with all to play for in GT4 and GT3. The Porsche fight well and truly alive in the main course slot here on a Thursday night, but right here and now, we've got the production cars taking centre stage. The first of 2 races tonight, the second and only, the final time that we'll see them behind the wheel of the Mustangs this season. Brendan Whitaker's pipped Chris Whitaker for pole position. Reece Gosner and Sam Chapman will share the second row. Aidan Schultz and Adam Lavis the third row. Nick Wood and Chuk Fung Wong from the fourth row. Dale Sharp and Kevin Henderson from row 5. Robert McGrath and Greg Padgett from row 6. It's all right, Grant. You had the right thing up anyway. It just was in a different format. Wayne Edwards and Sean Rees from 7. Jared Gilbert and Philip Howe from 8. Michael Ladder and the ad said from row 9. Brendan Soper and Phil King from 10. And that'll just about do us. Over the page, Glenn Wilkinson, Matt Schmidtke and Kurt Chapman. Track and weather details, 12 o'clock on the 7th of June, 2023. They're absolutely taking the you-know-what with 25 degrees ambient at Phillip Island in the middle of June. Fair dinkum. Pull the other one that plays Jingle Bells and 26 degrees the track temp. No surprise, it is Victoria. In winter, it is cloudy. 19 km/h winds as well. And so throughout the course of the night, plenty to keep your eyes on, ladies and gentlemen, plenty to keep you updated on with the footy and the cricket. But right now, as we get underway, race 1 of the evening, we'll get rid of that, Grant. We'll come back to the championship points in just a moment. Chris Whitaker, a beautiful start, blasting down the outside to displace Brendan on the run towards turn 1. Reece Gosner and Sam Chapman slotting behind, but it's Whitaker leading at turn 1. And the Taco Bell entry, and then the tribute to, and appropriately enough, we are in the Ford Mustangs, the tribute to Alan Moffat sitting in behind there as they make their way through the Southern Loop for the first time. Already plenty of cars off track, scattered everywhere at the Southern Loop. They have gone everywhere. Jeez, that's a lot to pick apart. So many cars caught up early in the piece. Jared Gilbert was one of them. Wayne Edwards another. Brendan Soper, Greg Padgett, Kevin Henderson and Dale Sharp. Nick Wood as well, down 10 spots on the opening lap.
Chris Whitaker jumped past
Chris
Brendan
Whitaker,
there.
already under pressure again though from Brendan, and no surprise that Reece gone. Oh, Whitaker's gone, Brendan's gone, Brendan's looped it, had pole position, lost out on the run to turn 1, nearly found a way back by Chris, and then loops it. And that costs him a bunch of spots, down to 7th. As a fair indication as to how treacherous and skaty an opening lap that has been, he's only lost 5 spots. Have a look at it again. Back goes out from under him.
And Sam Chapman was able to get past Reece Gosner as well at the same time, because Gosner was just checked up that little bit.
Thunderfoot indeed. Well played, well observed, Matty Dench. Good evening to you. Down the main straight we go. There's Adam Lavis hanging on to 4th spot at the moment. So the Mustangs. So last week we of course saw TCR around Interlagos. I wasn't here for that one.
That was a good
I
outing.
was otherwise occupied.
Yeah, very interesting. Business as usual. I think it was Whitaker versus Whitaker most of the time, and some other action thrown in amongst the mix. But courtesy of Brendan's exit stage left, Chris has a 2.8 second lead, and these guys I think will probably slow each other down.
No traction control here is exactly right. Now, next week, of course, we go to Winton in the Renault Clios, and then the Toyota 86s from Sandown. So we're on Australian turf. We're in Victoria for the next 3 weeks of the Production Car Series.
Let's see if we can...
Down the inside again. Reese Gosner displaces Sam Chapman.
Yeah, let's see if we can unpick some of that starting kerfuffle and the reason why the bottom of your screen is lit up with names. Here we go.
Have a look at it. Oh, no.
2 cars. Oh, look,
just garbage. 1, 2.
First couple are independent.
Count them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dodge them, cars.
That's nearly track closed, isn't it? But
that was nearly a safety car. Yep, absolutely.
The first couple were completely independent, doing very much what Brendan Whitaker had done, but under brakes rather than under throttle. Oh, down! That's very close from Aidan Schultz.
Yep. Schultzy giving Adam Lavis a big hurry up there. Through turn 11 they go. Just want to quickly jump in and update you on what's happened at the Oval so far. There have been four balls bowled on day 2 of the World Test Championship final between Australia and India. And Travis Head scored a single to get us going. Steve Smith scored 2 consecutive boundaries thereafter to wrap up his 100. So Steve Smith has gone to 103 in no time this morning, and the Aussies pressing along quite nicely, only 3 wickets down and over 300 on the board. We'll keep you abreast of that as the night goes on. We'll update you on the Swans and St Kilda at the Sydney Cricket Ground shortly as well. Meanwhile, back to the racing we go. Truk Pung Wong down the inside to 9th and displaces Philip Howe. Howe will look to fight back on the inside going into the southern loop, but has no choice but to yield. Pung Wong covers him off. Whitaker, the fastest lap of the race, 142.852, 2.6 clear of Reese Gosner. And Darren's right, you're not going to miss Reese tonight. That is a striking livery, no doubt about that. Chapman, Lavis, Schultz, Whitaker, Chapman, McGrath, Pung Wong, Howe, and Wilkinson make up the top 11.
Chapman.
And
16 places.
Off the road goes Gosner! Off the road through Siberia. You're not going to miss him tonight. That's for sure. Oh no, Adam Lavis as well. Adam Lavis is beached. Adam Lavis has come undone coming out of Siberia. How many times have we seen that? The Mustangs are proving a handful tonight at the island.
Let's have a look, see what happened to Adam here. It'll be probably very much what happened to Brendan. He'll just dip the wheels on the outside, and that's enough. Oh, yep. Schultz just
and how lucky was Schultz. Jeez. And up and over again just to add insult to injury for Adam Lavis.
Oh,
yes. My goodness.
Hope he didn't eat before the race.
If nothing else, he'll be dizzy and nauseous.
Yes.
Down the main straight we go. Just having a look at the calculations there, Grant. We're outside that 1 minute 40 bracket at the moment for these lap times. Yeah, I'm going to wager that we'll get 9 laps in this race. It's only 15 minutes. 9 laps is where I'm hedging my bets at the moment.
Copy that.
If we've got a splash and dash in the second race, you'd probably be looking at 14, maybe just sneaking a 15th. But yeah, 9 laps at the moment is where your Zach Bingo calculator should be, ladies and gentlemen, just quietly. Robert McGrath off the road. Now, somehow in amongst all of this, all 23 cars that started are still running, Grant. I don't know how. I don't know how. But there aren't too many that haven't run into some form of trouble already tonight.
No, Jode 73 is trucker for our education this evening, Zach.
Good evening to you, trucker. Good to have you on board. And apologies because I didn't actually see your first comment, mate, but I do appreciate that, and I do appreciate the clarification because that green just isn't agreeing with me at the moment that your name's lit up in. Our mate on the other side of the Ullamore.
Yeah, basically his comment was he's very disappointed to be missing this one because he loves the traditional vehicles, and Phillip Island, we know that much. But here we are with Reese Gosner. Brendan Whitaker's 5.5 seconds behind him, but he's closing down on Aidan Schultz pretty quickly. The gap's just 0.26 of a second. Watch him get a little bit of draft down here. These things are like bricks on wheels as far as aerodynamics.
So down to turn 1 we go. Gosner hounding Schultz. Schultz doing well to withstand the pressure at the moment, and they're trying to go with Sam Chapman.
Yeah,
Andrew McGrath tuning in as well. Hello to you, mate.
Sam's been, he's found a streak of form that he's been driving particularly well. Oh, a little touch there, it looked like, between Gosner and Schultz. But Sam's been doing particularly well. He's been running into some bad luck along the way, but he's driving particularly well. Gap out front is 4:16 up to Chris Whittaker. Going away with it. So as we know round here, Rhys Gosner set the fastest lap that time round, 1:42.31. As we know round here, the wall and the grass is but a moment away.
Absolutely. Doesn't take much to come undone. It's a high-speed, high-pressure circuit. It's 8 1/4 minutes into the race thus far. We're watching Chris Whittaker on lap 5.
Kevin Henderson, in fact.
And, there's Hendo on screen, of course, in 12th place. Whittaker with that lead now, Grant. And, sorry, I did get a little bit tongue-tied there. Whittaker's lead now out to 4.4. Hendo trying to go down the inside of the Haitian!
On Michael
Can't
Ladder.
get it done. Oh, boy. Rhys Gosner, the fastest of the race, 1:42.312. Hendo, just keep a lid on it, son. There's still plenty of time to go. Whittaker down to the first corner after completing lap 5. So we're on to lap 6, ladies and gentlemen. We're past half race distance. Nice to have you along for the ride. It is Thursday Night Motorsport for week 8 of Turn 2 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. There is Hendo.
I just got
with
jump
a very nice livery for Ford fans to reminisce from back in the day as well.
Chuck Long's just slipped by Kurt Chapman there. Kurt Chapman and Chuck. But I was looking at Hendo's car, and it's got some very, very distinct witness marks down the side of the vehicle, as does Adam Lavis, who's there in the green. With the wry smile that comes on these vehicles as they get a few dents up. Andrew McGrath trying to figure it out. How can he officially the race virtual? Yes. Good luck with that one. I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I might come back to that one actually.
If you can figure that one out, you're.
I think I know what he's getting at, and I think I can decipher it, but I'll come back to it. Just because I want to focus on this battle for the moment, because you mentioned the the tales of the walking wounded, and of course there's probably a couple of coats of grass on Adam Lavis's roof at the moment after he went up and over just at that very spot to the left of your screen there through Siberia. Ryan McKinnon with a comment that we could all echo, actually. This is better than supercars.
Yeah, he's got
10.5 minutes gone. We're on lap 7 now as Chris Whittaker completes lap 6. So he's got a quarter of a lap on these guys already. Adam Lavis in there in 11th place. Remember, there's an invert of the top 10 after this race as well. So Adam would be hoping to find a way by Michael Ladder to get that invert.
Adam running the Mercedes spec wing there. Bent all over the place. Oh, look at this. Is a great battle. Gosner, Chapman and Schultz for second place. Up the road, 4.8 is Chris Whittaker just doing some time trialling.
And the more these 2 or 3 continue to duke it out, Grant, the more he's going to disappear. We've seen it happen how many times before? Lap 7, we've got 2 to go at the line. Nice to have you on board. Thursday Night Motorsport Platforms, Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, and Schultz! Oh boy, very close to the tail of Chapman there. A little bit too close for comfort, and Chapman's right there also with Rhys Gosner. These guys are anywhere between 1/10 and 7/10 slower than what Whittaker's punching out at the front of the field at the moment. But Whittaker has not yet nabbed the fastest lap. That belongs to Gosner. 11.5 gone. 2 to go at the line. It's all happening here at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. And we've got another race where that came from for you very shortly. Then, of course, we go into sprint mode for the Porsches. It's a sprint week. We had sprint racing in GT3 on Monday night as well. And, of course, next week we bring you the AM split of GT3 from Mount Panorama Bathurst for 60 minutes. That's Monday night, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, GT4 preceding that for their penultimate round of the season as well, on the back of a long weekend for the progressive and civilised parts of the country. It only took me about 20 minutes to get that in. There you go, Grant. Very nicely done.
Big draft. No, that's right. Well, you got it out of the way before we went on air.
I did. I apologise for not getting it in sooner into the broadcast. But down the inside goes Schultz again, but the door is slammed firmly shut.
Oh,
Chapman not leaving it open enough for Schultz to wedge his way through here as they come out of the Southern Loop and head down towards Stoner and Miller Corner.
fantastic driving by both gentlemen there. So close, so respectful, and so clean. Here he goes for another big look down the inside, and I think
that's better.
Chappers will
That's
say,
better.
you have a run up front for a bit, mate.
Chapo happy to yield on that occasion. Not surprisingly, because the pressure had been relentless from Schultz. 1:42.3 for Reece Gosner, the fastest lap of the race thus far, but they're 4.5 seconds off the race leader, Chris Whittaker. And now that Schultz is within a second of Gosner, now that he's got clear of Chapman, is this an opportunity for him to exercise some muscle and showcase his potential speed here? Up over the Southern Loop. Sorry, Lukey Heights, I should say. Down into MG Corner. Whittaker will come back to the line, get the last lap board. We'll get to 9.
Oh, drifting.
Did anticipate that. I'm very glad that the numbers, the mathematics work out first up on a Thursday night. Down the main straight we go. White flag in the air.
Barney's supposed to be here somewhere. Oh, yeah.
There he
He is.
Can someone explain to me why he's waving from the crowd? It's not the first time we've seen it this season. It's not the first track we've seen it at. But for some reason, iRacing have got him in with the fans. Again. And yet there's a designated flag post on pit wall. Fair dinkum. With all the updates that they're spruiking at the moment, with the 2 new circuits and the cars and this, that and the other, you would have thought they'd put Barney in his proper place. Anyway, looks like Barney's resignation might be coming in at some point. Down the main straight we go. This is Kevin Henderson holding off Adam Lavis. Now, this is the battle to see who wins the invert, the whole shot for the next race.
Yeah.
Actually, that's true. At least he is waving it, unlike the other night. He took Monday night off, didn't he? Through we go. Whittaker, Gosner, Schultz, Chapman and Whittaker. So Brendan's got back to 5th, despite losing 6 spots or 5 spots when he spun out of Siberia on lap 2. Chris Whittaker at the front. Doesn't matter what car they throw at the Whittakers in this production car series, they are cleaning it up and lapping it up as well. We'll remind everybody of what the championship points were coming into this round in just a few moments' time. We'll get back to that. That table was on your screen as the cars took off here. We just didn't get a chance to analyse it. But each and every week, the cream rises to the top. The versatility of Chris Whittaker on show for all to see. Another race win in the production car series for CW. Job done. Second will go to Reece Gosner, holding off Aiden Schultz and Sam Chapman. Brendan Whittaker's going to come home in 5th place. What pace he showed in the end. Fastest lap of the race for Gosner. 6th will go to Chuk Fung Wong. Then we'll get back to Kurt Chapman, Glenn Wilkinson, Sean Rees, and whether it's Hendo or Lavis, we're about to find out. Looks like Hendo's going to get this done and hold the spot and come home in 10th and get the invert pole position for race 2. Well done, Kevin Henderson. Off the top corner, nice and cleanly, and 10th is his. Lavis 11th, Ladder and Howe in behind them. Then McGrath, Wood, Adshead, Schmidtke, Sharp, King and Gilbert. No Greg Padgett. Greg Padgett came home a lap down. Brendan Soper a lap down. And Wayne Edwards is going to come home a lap down as well.
Between Wood and McGrath.
Wood got it by 0.2 of a second, Grant. 0.2, that's all it was.
Copy that.
0.2.
All right, let's firstly have a look at those results coming into tonight.
308 for Chris Whittaker, leading Brendan Whittaker 275, and then daylight to Reece Gosner, only a few points then back to Adam Lavis. No Ryan Tegel tonight on 207, 204 for Sam Chapman, 200 for Matt Schmidtke, Gary Cousins in behind them, well down the order, and Anthony Adshead 20 further back. Chuk Fung Wong, another 8 behind Ad's Head, and then that's it for the top 10.
Now,
So
not had that confirmed.
we've had a few different winners in this series so far.
Yeah, not had that confirmed whether that's taking into account the drop rounds, but we'll hopefully get a chat with Adam at some stage and find out. But there we go. There's the results of Sprint Race 1.
Whitaker from Gosner, Schultz, Chapman and Whitaker, Fung Wong, Chapman, Wilkinson, Rees and Henderson made up the top 10. Quickly going around the grounds, it is Thursday night football at the Sydney Cricket Ground, and they're already into the second quarter there. They are not mucking around tonight at the SCG. It's a real fast-moving game of AFL football. The game only started at 7:10, and they're already 4 minutes into the second quarter. Not sure what that's all about. It must be on a time frame tonight, because that's there wasn't a lot of time on in that first quarter. But St Kilda leading Sydney 2-2-14 to 0-1-1. And of course the match in the NRL not too far off getting underway. We'll see the Gold Coast Titans at home, I believe, taking on the West Tigers tonight. And at the Oval in London, Australia have accelerated along to 3 for 345 after 89 overs and 1 ball.
When you came up with that update earlier on, you said four balls had been bowled. I thought you were going to say we were 7 for. But
No.
That's what I'm saying. Oh no.
Happy to report that Travis Head has moved up to 153 of 166 since we last updated you. Steve Smith on 105. He is playing brilliantly. There's no doubt about that. Taking a baseball approach to the game of cricket, you could say, and not on the pommy side of the fence, which is good for our Ashes hopes. Now, Grant just scrolled through all the people that wouldn't be possible to do this without. Of course, they include Waste Options, Blackout Electrical Solutions, naming right sponsor of the Porsche Cup coming up later on. Login Systems, of course. West Orange Motors. Astute Finance, Insurance and Wealth in East Brisbane. I have neither. And Fisher and Doer Lawyers, who I will be a client of before the end of the season, I'm sure. And Flash Graphics as well. So, there we go. That's the tail of the tape here at Phillip Island. We're now getting ready for the second race of the program as the server updates and the cars make their way onto the grid. Kevin Henderson's going to be on pole alongside Sean Rees, Glenn Wilkinson, Kurt Chapman, then Chuk Fung Wong and Brendan Whitaker from 3, Sam Chapman and Aidan Schultz from 4, Reese Gosner and Chris Whitaker from 5. We're starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon for a 25-minute race. Clock moving twice as fast as it would in the real world. There will be a splash and dash here. We will head in the direction of 5 o'clock server time before we're done.
It'll be dark.
No, it won't be. Not in Victoria. It's not Queensland, mate. It is winter, but it won't be dark.
Close to
it. The lights might be on, but it won't be completely pitch black. It won't be like that GT4 race we had here way back when. Adam Lavis and Mick Ladder from row 6, Philip Power, Nick Wood from 7, Robert McGrath, Anthony Adshead from 8, Dale Sharp and Matt Schmidtke from 9, Phil King, Jared Gilbert, Greg Padgett, Brendan Sober, and Wayne Edwards make up our field. There they are, all set to rock and roll, ready to rumble on the main straight. Clouds are dark, but threatening nothing in the way of precipitation because iRacing hasn't yet got there. Set for a start. Racing at the Island, race 2 of round 8 of the production car series underway. The 16th race of the season, and they fan out 3 and 4 wide across the main straight as they head down towards Doohan Corner.
Sean Rees passed.
Great start up on the outside from Sean Rees. Hendo's going to hold sway on the inside though. Very good stuff. Hendo the leader, Rees, Chapman, Whitaker, Chapman and Wilkinson. Whoa, off goes Chuk Fung Wong. Kicking up grass and doing the whippersnipping early in the piece. Now down to Miller Corner. It is Henderson holding off Rees at the moment. Sam Chapman, Brendan Whitaker, a good start. Chapman up 4 spots. Let's just let that sink in for a second. He's having a nice green patch of form here. Chris Whitaker and Glenn Wilkinson swapping around positions as well. Chuk Fung Wong and Adam Lavis make up the top 10.
Oh, there's a touch. Howe's gone.
And not the first off-track excursion we've seen for Philip Howe tonight, but that's the biggest.
Oh, no, up front. Hendo.
More trouble. Oh, Hendo's gone. They're going left and right to try and avoid him. But Hendo's sitting there waiting to ping. Oh, pin yard up, gone. See you later, boys. That was always going to end messily and ugly. Hendo will turn around, but once more, the field has been spread out as the result of an incident which has shaken things up. Robert McGrath out of business, done. Philip Howe on the tow rope, coming to pit lane, done. This is how it all happened.
Yeah.
Rear end, bang, gone. See ya, bang. 1, 2, 3, whooshka.
Held his brakes.
And then there'll be a car that came through here on the inside that gets the grass. Yeah, there it is.
He just
bang.
clipped his nose. He saw him at the last moment. Hendo, you can tell he's a race controller, can't you? He's had his brakes stamped on hard all the way through that, and just clenching his butt cheeks together as tight as he could because he knew something was going to hit him. So Ladder in the pits, Henderson in the pits, Schultz in the pits, Wood in the pits. Sean Rees holding on. Brendan Whittaker now takes the lead through there. Can he make it stick? Too right he can.
1:55 the standing lap time there for Sean Rees. He was the fastest on that opening lap. Brendan Whittaker holding the lead of the race. Chris Whittaker up to third and not mucking around. Have a look at this down on the inside immediately of Sean Rees trying to go on the outside through the A-shed to put himself on the inside through Lukey Heights. Have a look at the commitment from Whittaker. 2 by 2 they go and CW moves to second. Into a position that would see him secure round honours given that Brendan was only 5th across the line in race 1. How good's that?
Sean Rees getting mugged a little bit there.
Magnificent. So Whittaker and Whittaker 1 and 2. Rees is under all sorts of pressure from Fung Wong. Gosner and Chapman not too far away. Lavis is in the thick of it as well. We've lost a couple, as I've already said. Philip Powell, Nick Wood, Robert McGrath, all done, out of business. So we're down to 20. The field is slowly but surely thinning out. Down to turn 1 comes Lavis. Commitment through, doing corner.
Oh, he can't do that, can he?
Down the inside. No, not going to get it done there.
Oh, he's balked him though.
Oh, he will. He will. You know why?
Forced the error.
Chapman's off. Exit stage right. Trademark Phillip Island 101 off at the southern loop, just going in too deep, and once you clip that grass, you are a passenger.
Yeah, he did just enough to balk him there. He did nothing illegal, of course. He just stuck his nose down the inside, and whilst Kurt Chapman had a little look over his shoulder, he just missed his mark, and that corner is a bugger. It'll just drag you out, and I'm sure they've got waving hands on the fence on the outside because it's just, come over here, come over here.
Yep, exactly. Hey, look at me.
Yeah, Fung Wong's got through on Sean Rees. But Reese Gosner now is having a big look at Reese and sees what happened there. For Astro
Wyatt
Boy.
MacArthur cheering on Reese Gosner at the moment. Chris Whittaker, the fastest lap of the race, 1:43.297. Gosner to 4th. But for how long? Rees back down the inside.
Lavis will have a piece of
Lavis
this.
is there as well. Lavis wanting to pounce. Lavis lurking. Lavis trying to get down the inside. Now he's back on the outside. Trying to get a tow from either one of these blokes. Will they both leave the door open? No. Down the main straight we go. We could be 3 wide by the time we get to the end of the straight here. Have a look at this. Rees goes to the inside. Gosner holding on to 4th. Lavis up the outside, can't get it done.
Sam.
Watch him. He might be able to get it done going into the southern loop though, Grant, but not yet.
Sam Chapman closing right in on the back of this pack as well.
It is all happening at the island.
As it so often
great
does.
to watch.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what cars we bring here, it always throws up some good stuff. So Chris Whittaker holding on to second. Adam Lavis now under pressure from Chapman, trying to get by Rees, trying to go with Gosner. Excuse me. Fung Wong holding on to 3rd place at the moment, 2.3 down on Chris Whittaker. 1.4 up on Reece Gosner. It's all happening here. Don't forget, of course, folks, Porsche's coming up from the Long Beach circuit in California as soon as we're done here. Thursday night motorsport, third last time we do it this term.
Here comes.
This semester.
Here comes Adam.
Lavis to the inside at MG. Now, Rees, if he's smart, yep, that's exactly what he needed to do. Hang tough on the outside to put himself on the inside for 11. But that's going to open the door. That's going to open the door potentially for Chapman to dive down the inside. Lavis having looked down the inside as well. Chapman would have had to have yielded. Yep, he did. Right on the bumper of Lavis there as they come down the main straight. How good's this? Lavis holding on to
having a big
position number 6 at the moment, having a look for 5th, and Chapman going with him down the inside. Can they double up and gang up on Rees? They can. And they both make him pay. They both get by. They both find a way to get it done. The two Whitakers. Then we go back to third place in Feng Wong. Then Gosner and then also Lavis, Chapman, Rees, Chapman, Schmidtke and Adshead.
Oh, look out. That was so close to a touch. I would say it wouldn't be the first time that Chris has put his car that close to his brother's. I'll keep that as clean as I possibly can.
Correct.
Stuck his nose in there, one might say, but we don't know how close the boys are. Well, we've got
Travis Head's just been dismissed, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, for 168. Travis Head done for 168, and Australia now 4 down at the Oval. That's happened while we were watching Chris Whitaker hounding all over the back of Brendan. We go back to Gosner all over the back of Feng Wong through into MG. So the Mustangs. So we get a mix of different types of racing here in this championship, don't we? Of course, we have 5 different race cars to play with. TCR gives us a little bit of manufacturer variety. But this week the Mustangs, next week the Clios, then the Toyota 86s. So it's one make Thursday in a matter of speaking for the next 3 weeks, because we go from one make in the entree to one make Porsche racing in the main course. Chris Whitaker, the fastest lap of the race, 1:42.508, hounding Brendan Whitaker. It's going to come down to that splash and dash, that pit stop here, coming up very shortly.
And of course, new Porsche released with the, I think it's the GT3R Porsche, but we're sticking with the 992 as we have it for the rest of the season in the Porsches. And next season, the new car will be available, I believe. Perhaps it's not GT3, it's probably just an R, 911R. In a cold trickle, Reece Gosner. Oh, these boys as close as you like.
Are they what? Are they what?
Battles all over the racetrack. Greg Padgett and Wayne Edwards and Kurt Chapman. There we go. Phillip Island 101 in at Miller's Corner there.
And I must admit, it also weeks 1 and 6 in this championship, on the subject of one make racing, we of course had the Mazda MX-5s as well. So we've had the best of everything in this production car series, and the racing has been top shelf week in, week out. Schmidtke and Chapman and Padgett and Edwards and Sharp arguing over the same piece of real estate at the moment. Lose Schmidtke from that fight. He's a couple of seconds up the road on this batch. But it's a 4-way fight for 9th place at the moment.
Oh, that's
King there in 13th. Whoa, that's not racing. That's not cricket. What's going on there?
Big swing.
Dale Sharp. Jeez, did well to hold on to it.
You're always just hanging on to it through there as well, especially if you're trying to challenge for a position. It gets very loose and skatey over the top there. Sam Chapman, he wants to let Adam Lavis know he's there. So first and second, good battle. Third and fourth, good battle. Fifth and sixth, good battle. Nice work from the boys. Dale Sharp's come into the pit, so I'm thinking there's a pit stop required.
Yeah, there usually is a splash and dash in these production car races.
I think
in this second race at least.
Yeah, I think it's 27% fuel. So Dale Sharp decided he'd come in and not continue that battle with the others.
So we continue on, and Chris Whittaker's right there
look
on
out.
the bumper. Whoa! That's a little bit close for comfort. The brothers getting into it here. The gloves are off, and they know that bragging rights are well and truly on the line here at the moment. They know that Chris has got them secured by virtue of a championship lead at the moment. They know that if he stayed there, he'd win the round as well. But it's never been like CW to pass up the opportunity to pick up a clean sweep. So to turn 10 we go. He won't pass up the opportunity to clean sweep. He's always looking at the bigger picture and just how big those bragging rights can be. It is small picture stuff in the grand scheme of things because, of, as we say, if he stays there, he wraps up the round regardless. But he's always looking at the bigger picture, and that is, of course, just being able to rub that salt into the wound, take the double, take the clean sweep, and secure those bragging rights a little bit more firmer.
And we know he never needs
Out of 10 1 we go.
He never needs an invitation to follow through on the bragging rights, does he?
No. Or an invitation to get one up on Trent Lavis either.
Indeed.
It's always entertaining when CW joins us in the booth. He'll do that in about 15 minutes' time once the checkered flag flies here. Remember, of course, we've still got 12 and a half minutes to go. We're past half race distance. We've got 7 laps down. We're on lap 8. Again, we're somewhere around that 14-15 marker, depending upon... It is a long pit lane here. It's a long transit, so that might be what stops us from getting to 15. Remembering you've only got that 100-odd seconds to play with, but these guys are chewing up about 3 seconds a lap because they're not quite at that 1 minute 40 threshold. So, 14 threes are 42, so 58 seconds left to play with on the transit. I've got a feeling it could be 14 laps, but you never know. By the skin of their teeth, they may just eke it out to 15. Here we go, up over Lukey Heights again. Have a look at CW. Does he go to the inside this time? Yes, he does. Down the inside goes Chris Whittaker for the race lead. The double is on. The double is well and truly on here for the championship leader. Trademark stuff. Executed it to a T.
That's the second semester of Phillip Island 101.
Yep.
It's either Miller's Bend or Miller's Corner, whatever they'd like to call it, or up over Lukey Heights there. Sam Chapman's come into the pits. He was right on the hammer of Adam Lavis. So he's taken this moment to pop in, and up front these boys will be at it all the way through.
Top 6 yet to stop, and so too Schmicky, Chapman, Padgett and King. Everybody else has pitted, collected their top up of Splash and Dash fuel, and away they go on the run to the checkered flag. Jared Gilbert a lap down at the moment. Ladder out of business, so too Howard and McGrath. We're down to a field of 19 here. Thursday night motorsport across the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And, jeez. Not quite.
Stomped on those brakes just a fraction early. He didn't want to be in the back seat of Chris's car. And he took that early moment. But once he'd hit the brakes, he was able to just ease off a bit and coast it in. But great battle between these two.
Through Lukey Heights, they'll go after they navigate their way through the hay shed, and Brendan's got his nose back in front. Are they toying with us just for the sake of showmanship? Have a look at that. Brendan Whittaker back to the front to lead them to potential pit stops this time by. If not next time by, I would suspect would be the latest they could possibly run it.
No, I'd say gloves are off with these two.
We're on to lap 9, lap 10.
Gloves are
next
off
time by the one.
for those bragging rights. One in, one
Brendan's in.
Yeah, Chris goes, I'll have a go at this, mate.
Brendan in.
Give me a shot. Let's see what I can do. And we'll have a look at his lap time this time round.
Chris has the fastest lap of the race already under his belt, 1:42.508. Across the line we go. Gosner's there, only about 1.3 away. 3 seconds back to Fang Wong. Another 3 back to Adam Lavis. And 2 back to Sean Rees.
And that dicing between the two boys up front, of course, it always happens, but they were about 8/10 of a second slower than Gosner, who was tucked in the 3rd place there. So it's a good idea one of them got out of the way, because it could have all ended in tears very, very easily. And they would have gone running to Mum, and she would have said, go to your rooms, I don't want to know.
Exactly.
Jared Gilbert with a suspected sprained or broken foot. We'll give him a few bonus points for travelling around there in 19th spot.
It's a solid effort. It's a solid effort. There's no doubt about that. One thing I didn't mention on Monday Night Motorsport, actually, Grant, and it was just Brendan's comment about Jared having the suspected sprained or broken foot. Mine cramped up the other night.
Oh, no.
Because, yeah, my feet cramped up the other night. I could feel them just going on me because I was standing on the spectator hill at Archerfield Speedway, and I was standing there for a good 6 hours for the last night of Archerfield. In whatever, guys, obviously it gets turned into, we don't know as yet. It's just we've lost another great Australian speedway. But terrific crowd. I got there at 4:30 local, and it was standing room only. It was ridiculous. Here comes CW into the pit lane right now to complete his splash and dash his top up. It is a tricky one. There's no doubt about that. But he navigates it
That might be a
pretty
little
well.
bit quick. That might be a little bit quick. I thought you were going to say it was from all the toe tapping at the Delta Goodrem concert.
No. That's not until September.
Oh, okay.
That is not until September.
Copy that.
No. Yeah, so even though I have had my fair share of social outings recently, the best is yet to come in 2023, because we've got obviously the Sydney 300 next month at SMP. Obviously, on the back of that, it'll be the countdown to Delta Goodrem. I've got a birthday in there for good measure. And then we go to the cause at the end of October as well. So a lot to look forward to there. Here comes Brendan down the inside. Concedo. Oh, what's going on here, please? What's going on here? Have a look at this. Chris Whittaker left the door open for Kurt Chapman, did he? Oh, wow. Brilliant. So Brendan Whittaker's come out. So CW had the fastest stop. No doubt about that. CW had track position. And Rubens Barrichello, Michael Schumacher-esque of 2002, he's yielded and let Brendan go through and take the lead, the effective lead of the motor race. Schmidtke, Rees, Lavis and Gosner ahead of them, all yet to stop. We're at the 18 and 3/4 minute mark. We're on lap 11. It's the platforms of Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and it is it is Thursday Night Motorsport, and it is that's going to be the talking point of the rest of the night. What was going on there?
Indeed.
Because Chris nearly lost another spot there in trying to do the gentlemanly thing and let his brother through. He almost lost two.
I wonder how coordinated it was. In fact, it did successfully check up, Mr.
Something smells a bit fishy about that one, Grant.
Like an old prawn trawler, mate.
Oh,
Lavis, Gosner, Rees all in from the front. Matt Schmidtke yet to pit, but he might be on his way in as he comes around here. This will equalise the field, and in fact he does come in. One.
In he goes. Schmidtke, Rees, Maverick, of course Adam Lavis, and Rees Gosner already all in ahead of him. So therefore the field will be cleansed at this point. They get back to the line, across the line with 5:20 on the clock. So yes, they will get by about 7 seconds, maybe 8 seconds on my count, Grant Gill. They will get to lap 15.
Copy that.
They will get to lap 15. We're doing some overtime tonight, my friend. But we're not going to complain or bill for it because this racing's been top shelf right throughout the course of the season. Now we get to see the two brothers go at it for bragging rights to duke it out across the course of the final 4 laps.
And we're on a bit of a promise to get through the Porsches a little bit earlier this evening. Personal request from Mr. Lazarus, and
yes.
He reckons around Long Beach might be the quali might be a bit interesting because it's critical to how your race goes at that track.
Not going to lie, if iRacing ever had a red flag introduced, like the new Formula 1 PlayStation game is going to, thank Christ, about time, they'd have to red flag qualifying at Long Beach, wouldn't they? Dead set. The amount of cars that get brought undone and end up in the wall and spraying debris all over the racetrack, you wouldn't get a clean lap.
No.
That's why we love it.
I think some of our classes will run solo qualifying for that very reason, but don't think we're doing that tonight in the Porsches. Oh, the car control of these boys is magnificent. Heavy on the brakes, get the weight onto the nose, turn it in, let the back come around with you. And 21.09, 21.10, so it'll be about 21.30 1:30ish.
Yep, yeah, but that's the point. If it was 21:40, they'd be flirting with that finish line, that white flag at the end of lap 13, not the end of lap 14.
Yep.
But because they've got 3:35 left on the clock, and they're clocking in the 1:43s at the moment, my maths suggests that with about 6 seconds to go, maybe 7, the white flag will fly.
Not that maths is his strong suit, but
No, not at all. No. It's according to a neurosurgeon, it was meant to be my worst subject. So I'm happy to run with that.
Yeah. So we might just run through now that we're equalised out. We've got B. Whittaker from C. Whittaker, then it's Gosner, Wong, Chapman, that's your top 5. Then it's Rees, Maverick, Wilkinson, Adshead and Schmidtke, that's your top 10. We'll then run through Sharp, Padgett, Edwards, Chapman, Schultz, top 15. King, Henderson, Soper and Gilbert, a couple of those boys are a lap down from there. So Gilbert, I think it might be the last one on the lead lap. But nice work from all of the fellas through there. Spread out a little bit. Gaps have elongated somewhat. Brendan Whittaker is giving Chris about 6/10, or Chris is giving Brendan about half a second lead. Car's getting a little bit skatey through there. I wonder how the brakes will be going, but should be quite cool. Still 26 degrees at 4:45 in the afternoon, June 7. Uppercut.
Yeah, 4:45. No sign of sunset anywhere near Grant, which is beautiful.
Gone behind the clouds.
And 2 laps to go. Across the line we go with 1:52 on the clock. 2 laps to go at the island. We'll get to 15. We'll do about 1.5 minutes of overtime for the privilege. Thursday night motorsport on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. Remembering that the Porsches come up at 1/4 to the hour. And it will be a 45-minute affair split between a 16-minute race and a 27-minute race tonight around the streets of Long Beach for you. So we're very excited about that. Down they come onto the main straight.
Look out, Greg Patrick. You're about to have your pocket picked.
He's in trouble.
Oh, no, he's just going to sit with him there, maybe lining up Miller's.
It's a nice sound these Mustangs have, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah. Just a little nice bit of noise. On the subject of noise, if you want noise this weekend, Willowbank's your home, your place to be, because the Winter Nationals are on for drag racing. Whoa, we're around the outside at the hay shed. Not the first time bring it to fight. Chris is back in front with 40 seconds on the clock and a lap and 1/4 to go.
Oh, my word. Lights are on.
Whittaker Motorsport, they're really floating with it here. They're really just turning it on the entertainment side of things. And that's probably all it is at the moment. Let's show these boys what we've got. Let's steal some of the attention and the limelight away from the battles further back in the pack. And let's just, one up the showmanship side of things. Down the main straight. White flag in the air. Not that you can see it. Barney's in the crowd. Down the inside goes Brendan. Back to the lead. Yeah, they're toying with us now. They're just seeking a little bit of attention, I think.
They're having fun, for sure.
They're having too much fun, Grant. Too much. We're onto them. It's good stuff. It's really good to watch. And it's just a matter of who comes across the line first. Not any doubt cast over which team it's going to be. Whittaker Motorsport have one eye, one hand on this premiership already, this trophy for the team's race.
Oh, he's wide,
the Mustangs.
Chris, wide. He was a little slow out of Southern Loop as well. Looks like Brendan's... now he's trying to get that nose tucked in for that second part. Yes, Reese Gosner doing a good job in third place, 3.2 seconds back.
Through the hay shed for the last time. Brendan's got the job done, I think. Chris will have the fastest lap of the race. That ain't a problem. Chris will also take round honours. by virtue of the fact that Brendan came unstuck in that opening race and finished down in 5th place. But right now, let's celebrate another demoralising performance from Whittaker Motorsport. They are cleaning up in this production car championship. Chris is looking good for the driver's title, but there's no questioning, there's no mistaking who's going to get the job done in the team's race. Brendan gets another race win to his credit at Phillip Island. Chris wins the round by virtue of a win and a 2nd place. Just demoralising for the competition once more from Whittaker Motorsport. Reece Gosner, Chuk Fung Wong and Sam Chapman made up the top 5, excuse me.
Well, that was fun.
Always is. Some of the lower placed drivers down further afield in the order, they're making their way across the line now. We had a few retirements in the end there, but in the end, a good finishing rate considering the absolute schmozzle that was the opening lap in both races, to be fair. Brendan Whittaker, Chris Whittaker, Reece Gosner, Chuk Fung Wong, Sam Chapman, Sean Rees, Adam Lavis, Anthony Adshead, then Matt Schmidtke and Dale Sharp made up the top 10. Greg Padgett was 11th, then Wayne Edwards, Glenn Wilkinson, Phil King, Kevin Henderson's coming across the line now for 15th. Aidan Schultz and Brendan Soper will make up the finishes of those that finished on the lead lap. Kurt Chapman and Jared Gilbert finished a lap down. Not bad for someone with the bung foot, no doubt about that.
No, that's right.
All right. Shall we go to a break and get into this Porsche server, Grant, and then that way we can have a chat to everybody else here post-race?
Yeah, let's just give it a couple of seconds, see if someone jumps in, because it would. Chris won't hang around for the Porsches, of course, but I'd say...
No, but what I'm thinking is it's only going to take you, 3-4 minutes to jump into the Porsche server, and we can have the chat in there.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. So
let's do that. Done. Break back. Thursday night motorsport on the platforms, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Stay with us. The Porsches are still to come. It's Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Nice to have you along for the ride. Cars parked in the middle of the road. Welcome to Long Beach. Second instalment of Thursday Night Motorsport coming away here very shortly. Races 3 and 4 of the program. The two races that will make up round 8 of the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup very shortly. But if you're just joining us, of course, we've just had round 8 of the production car series and the Mustangs around Phillip Island. We'll come back to cover that off in just a moment. It's an enormous Thursday night of sport because not only have we had day 2 of the Test Championship final get underway, we've also got Thursday night at NRL with the Titans leading the Tigers 16-6 after 35 minutes. At the Sydney Cricket Ground, the AFL is back playing on a Thursday night as well, and it's Sydney up against St Kilda there. And I can tell you that we're in the middle of the halftime break and the Swans leading the Saints 35-26. And then, of course, the World Test Championship final at the Oval. Australia have lost 2 early wickets on the second day's play. Alex Carey has joined Steve Smith in the middle. Travis Head was dismissed earlier in the piece. So too Cameron Green rather cheaply. It's 5 for 382. After 96.3 overs. Chris Whittaker and Sam Chapman are here to dissect what was a very entertaining round of the production car series. CW, it's clear that I might owe you an apology. It seemed like we might have got the call wrong. We thought you two were just doing a little bit of attention seeking there, but apparently that was full-blown elbows out racing.
Yeah, that was everything I had, mate. I was throwing everything I had to try get past him there. He made a little boo-boo in Siberia. Second last lap there, and obviously got the run through, but then I went too deep into MG, so he got the run back on the main straight, so it was all over. But it's I don't think I quite had Brendan's pace. It's just unfortunate in the first race for him that he came unstuck in Siberia yet again. But I reckon that second race had not got the toe early on with Brendan. I reckon Reese would have been fair up the Russell Coit chasing us down. But that's pretty good night. 2 rounds to go, and obviously things are starting to shape up at the moment at the top end of town. But it's all going pretty well, mate.
Yeah, I was going to say, Whittaker Motorsport, doesn't matter what car we throw at you, you guys are answering the challenge at the moment. This championship is looking as though it's going to go to either one of you. It's just a matter of working out how that plays out over the course of the next 2 weeks and just how big the margin is in the team's fight back to everybody else, and whether Brendan can claw back the deficit that he's currently got to you, which was 30 points coming into the night. However, mistakes coming out of Siberia aren't going to help him.
They're not going to help him, but I made my fair share of mistakes tonight as well. So 30 points, it sounds like a lot, but that's, of the 2 races that we do, that's just one race. So 1 DNF, and depending how the drop rounds and everything work out, but 1 DNF or a bad round between next week and the final week, and someone goes spinning in the background. It's going to be on like DK with us. But Reese, bloody well done tonight. Adam had a bit of a tough round, but Anthony, with only a half hour practice, come home P8 in that second race was pretty cool too.
Absolutely. No, a very nice performance from him. Hey, just quickly too, ladies and gentlemen, Corey Lazarus's recommendation for us to bring you some more of the pre-race hype from Long Beach. This is practice underway at the moment, qualifying still to come. Can confirm one Brenton Hobson is back in the server. Just let that sink in for a moment. Dylan Shepherd's there as well, due for some good luck. Looking down the order, Nick Wood, Joe Baldwin, Adam Lavis. There's a cast of thousands lining up there tonight on the streets of Long Beach. My count so far is that there are 36 cars in the service, so it could be a very, very interesting reverse grid race or top 10 invert race coming up in race 2. Just going back to you for a moment, Chris. Your 2 favourite cars still to come. Toyota 86 more so probably than the Renault Clio, but next week the Renault, that is going to be interesting.
Yes, the Clio at Winton. That's going to be an interesting combo. But I think it's just going to be a scenario of try to survive the night and leave the rest for Sandown. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the Clio, but it seemed to work for us in round 4. But and then Winton very much the same. It's a fun track to drive, but I don't really like racing around there. So we'll see if it works. Maybe it'll be a magic combo. And I know V's around Winton, for argument's sake, always makes for some good racing. TCR used to be pretty good around there as well. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how we go, mate. We'll get a couple of laps in and tune ourselves up and see what we can do.
Now, just one point of uncertainty from me. How slow you were off pit road after your stop to the point where Brendan just cruised on back through. And you nearly but surely opened the door and dropped 2 spots for the price of 1.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure where I lost the time, because I was looking at the my transit time through the lane was actually quicker than his. So, yeah, I don't know if it's just the actual launch out of the pit stall or stopping in the pit stall that I was a bit slower, or where it was. I know my in lap wasn't great. I had a couple of mistakes. I dropped the wheel in Siberia and had about 3 armfuls of lock on coming out of Honda as well. So that probably cost us a good second there. But I was 1.3 faster than him through the lane, but came out still another second odd behind him. So I'm not sure where the time actually went aside from that in lap. Maybe he had a bullet out lap.
Was it more a case of, hang on, we're on board with Brenton Hobson and around he goes?
Yeah,
that goes to show that even aliens make mistakes. There you go.
Exactly. It just looked as though you were either deliberately slow out of the lane or struggling to get up to speed out of the lane, CW. I just couldn't work it out.
Yeah, I don't think I missed a gear or anything coming out of there. I missed my fair share of gears tonight. That thing's a pain in the butt with the gearbox in it, but... at the start of the race I missed a gear, but I'm pretty sure the transit in, transit out was all pretty smooth. But as I say, he must have just had a bullet out lap, and he had obviously came in the lap before me, so the benefit of the cool down time might have saved him as well. So the thermal deg was pretty bad. So notice the first couple of laps after the pit stop, the car came alive again for a couple of laps, and then it just went downhill. But I think he probably just capitalised on that more than what I did.
And clear air as well proved rather pivotal and important tonight, as you highlighted there earlier, the way in which Brendan was able to drag you away from the chasing pack. Conversely, in race 1, with the chasing pack behind you squabbling amongst themselves, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and Brendan back in 7th, fighting his way back to 5th, you were able to check out and have a 4-second lead in no time.
Yeah, it was that same thing. Reece made the mistake there again, Siberia. And it was about a 3-second gap at that stage. And I think he dropped back to about 5 or 5.5 seconds, I think, from memory. I thought I saw at one stage. So, it's that same thing. They were still quicker, but I was just, I think, fortunate enough to get the initial jump. And I think Reece got held up a bit when Brendan went round. I think Reece nearly T-boned him as well. So I heard over Discord. But, that probably just helped us get that little jump and clear the toe or anything like that, and then just trying to do whatever I could. But he had some pretty bloody good pace in the Mustang again.
Just a note, Zach. Looks like solo qualifying, as we're running around.
Well, that ruins the fun of the fair, doesn't it?
Well, it gives everyone a fair shot, and especially with a field of 30 odd. It's going to give everyone a reasonable crack at it. I'm not sure how many laps they've got to do in there. Probably they might have 5 to do in that, if they can get that many out, which I doubt. There's Lazarus having a little touch on the wall already. Back to you, Zach.
Well, I was saying to Grant earlier in the piece, actually, boys, that if iRacing had a red flag already, which they don't, obviously, it'd be a case of you wouldn't get a clean lap in qualifying if you didn't have the sole blown qualifying option. It'd just be stoppage after stoppage with drivers making mistakes. It'd be the world's longest qualifying session, just trying to get everybody out for a lap. And iRacing doesn't function that way, obviously. Looking forward to seeing how the new red flag actually works in Formula 1 games next week when they launch on PlayStation 5.
And they haven't got the weather right for Long Beach either. It's middle of summer and it's 15-degree temperature, 8:30 in the morning.
And 14 degrees ambient.
Yeah.
I think Long Beach has ended up with Phillip Island's weather and vice versa. Exactly. What the hell were they smoking with 25 degrees at Phillip Island in the middle of June, please? Not sure what that's all about.
Probably a few logs on the fire, I'd say. But
Yeah, iRacing's where the guy, much like Barney, need to take a hike as far as I'm concerned. 9 minutes left in this session, so we will let Chris go on this note, mate. Thank you, appreciate that. Well done. We will look forward to touching base with you same time, same place next week.
We'll be here after the beautiful Clio, as long as we don't fall asleep driving the slug.
around your second most favouriteest track on the service.
Oh,
Exactly, that's it. Cheers, boys. Have a good one. Yeah.
And Chris, enjoy your long weekend, mate. Oh, wait, sorry. No, that's right. We live in Queensland. All the best.
I'll be enjoying mine though, Zach. Thanks. I forgot about that.
Chapo, I haven't got to you yet, Chris.
I'll talk to the boss and see if I can have a long weekend anyway. He just said, yep. There we go.
The joys of working for yourself. Get out of here, mate.
See you guys. Thanks, Alex.
8 minutes to go in this Porsche session. Yes, Chapo, you and most of the rest of Progressive Civilization will be enjoying a long weekend this weekend. Really, see, this is the problem that I've got with it, right? Because, you know me, I hate to get political.
Yeah, and maths isn't your strong suit. Yeah.
And maths isn't a strong suit, but
Bingo.
the reality of the situation is I really can't get my head around why the King's birthday holiday isn't a national public holiday. Why the states are allowed to, like Western Australia and Queensland, the only two doing it, are allowed to play Mickey Mouse with it, musical chairs, and swap it around and move it to the end of September or the start of October or whenever it is. It absolutely drives me up the wall because, again, I come back to the point. AFL and NRL both being played on Monday, but where will we be? Yeah, work. Now, well done. Another tip of the hat to why I often refer to Queensland as not being part of progressive civilization. Just lovely. So, yes, all the progressive and civilised parts of the country and the Northern Territory as well will be observing a public holiday this weekend, a long weekend, and you can tell because all the programs that come out of Sydney and Melbourne that are broadcast nationally, Hello Today, Hello Sunrise, and all the best to Koshi, are already talking about, what are your plans for the long weekend? Well, what long weekend? Jeez. Anyway.
All right, move along, Zach. Deitchy's just taken pole position with a 119.68, 2/10 faster than Sam Sproul. Hobbo's right up there with a 19.91, but
we've got a race to talk about soon, do we? Is that what you're saying?
Corey was right. There is a bit of action going on. Solo qualifying is giving these guys a fair crack at it.
The gaps are going to be fantastic and nice and close as well. And there's going to be a field of in excess of 25 out there, which is really exciting to see. Righto, Chabo, let's dissect your night, please. It looked like fun out there.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, we're on tiptoes to start with. It's not a car I know too well, so it was just sort of trying to keep it round. And Brendan spat in front, which gave me an extra boost. But I wasn't trying to keep pace with Reese. I would have gone spinning. So they went past in the end on first race, but 0 exit. So I'm happy with that. Second race was unreal start, and from about 7th to 3rd, and then followed around for a bit, and Hendo spun, and that pushed back a bit, and then someone else spun going on to the main straight, and I hit both of them, so we're back to 10th or something by the end of it. But yeah, all in all, pretty good. Pretty happy. It's funny about the public holiday. I was actually having a wine to a client about that today, and I throw in the daylight savings now as well. I think you've had an influence on me.
Thank you. That's what I'm here for.
Zach always says you become the people you hang around.
Exactly. You become like the people you hang around. It's lethal, but it's fun at the same time. It did look like fun out there, but you had to keep your wits about you because it isn't the easiest car to drive, and it's not the easiest track to master either. Trouble points waiting left, right, and centre. But in saying all of that as well, throw in a couple of cars to the front and to the behind of the car that you're behind the wheel of, and it makes for real good racing. And you, at one point there, I think you were in a battle pack of 4, were you not?
Sounds about right. There was bits and pieces throughout it. I know I was battling with Adam Lavis for a while there, and then pitted, which was which worked out. But I think Sean was involved in that too for a bit. Was certainly involved at the start behind those front two before it all went haywire. But yeah, no, it was a good race out there tonight. But you could sort of tell that people were, a bit nervous on the throttle, especially with these sort of sweeping corners. They're not sort of point and squirt corners, and it's a point and squirt car.
Certainly is. What are your thoughts on the Renault Clio and Winton, please?
Well, I'm not quite as much of a hater of the Clio as Chris is, but I also haven't driven it in a few weeks now. So, yeah, I think that'll be good. I think it's a good combo. We haven't seen Winton in a while either, I don't reckon. Used to go there all the time, but I've raced there for a little bit. So, yeah, that should be good.
And what else is happening, mate? What's the latest with you on this side of the fence? Do we see another broadcast from you before the season's done, aside from the Enduro?
Tuesday night, I believe.
Yeah, it's a good intro, yeah. No, the plan is the last couple of up-and-comers rounds with Adam Tice. So we'll do next week and the week after and cover there. So next week, round 9, and then that final week being the Super Sprint again, I think, which was obviously brilliant last season and resulted in probably the best championship battle I've seen. And
any news about a Wednesday night broadcast in Grand Final week? We understand Grand Final week for Wednesday night has been pushed back a week, though.
Yeah, so I'm not aware of what's going to go on there. I haven't checked my calendar if I'm free to do a broadcast, but happy to if I am. And yeah, no, that'd be good. I think the Fords still raced last night, so their final week will probably still be that in the standard week 10, but it might just be supercars.
Yeah, Formula Fords raced the early race. There was a iRacing update, of course, which was 8 gigabytes this afternoon, when I fortunately didn't leave it to the last minute.
Mine was 11.
Was it?
11 gigabytes.
I didn't bother updating any of the NASCARs, but Hobbo with a bump on the wall. 2 minutes to go. We're probably on the last laps of quali here. We rode on board for a little while there with Corey Lazarus, and Hobbo's just going to do a few practice starts here. But Lazarus had set up for a fast lap and couldn't improve his time. So at the moment, Dench, Sproul, Lazarus, Pedersen, Malcolm, with Hobbo back in sixth. Sorry, back to you, Sam and Zach.
All right, mate. Actually, we'll leave it there because we've only got a minute and a half before cars are going to be on the grid here. Chabo, we appreciate that, mate. All the best. Have a good call on Tuesday night as well.
Yeah, we'll do. Have a good call tonight. Looks like it's going to be a good one.
Looks like it's going to be an absolute belter. It always is around the streets of Long Beach. There he is, Sam Chapman, and before that, Chris Whitaker as well. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Let's press on here. Pressure's on indeed, as Danchi says, because the chasing pack, there's about 0.4 of a second covering the top 7, 8 on this grid, 9 even, dating back to Shane Wright. Half a second covers the top 10. We'll get to that in a moment. 11 points the difference in the championship race as well between M. Dench and K. Lazarus. And Kai Ardley's out of contention at the moment, but under pressure for the third place on the podium with Shane Wright. They're level on points. Back to Samuel Sproul and Brett Barker, Alex Schmidt and Andrew Smith. Only 13 points covering that for as well. The open split, Paul Wilson leading the way, 21 points clear of Jeff Adams. Have a look at Adam Lavis up there in third spot as well. Richard King fourth, Sean Rees, Callum Heinrich, Stephen Gallacher, Chuk Fung Long, Greg Padgett, and also Jonathan Hooper.
Nice. All right, shall we? We should have results. Not quite yet, but we can get them up on the side of the tower there. Times are a little bit small, so we'll just probably just wait for that to come up. But we have got Dench. Dench seems to have been doing his level best to hamstring himself the last couple of probably last 2 weeks. Last week he didn't have a great run of it in this car as well. But here we go with our.
He certainly didn't have a great run on Monday night in the GT3s either. Matty Dench on pole position alongside Samuel Sproul, Corey Lazarus, and Ben Pedersen. The second row, Jordan Malcolm, Brenton Hobson. The third row, Aaron Cooper and Magnus Roney. The fourth, then Shane Wright and Kyle the fifth. The field is stacked with talent. There's no doubt about that. Dylan Shepard and Brett Barker from 6, Gordon Ramsay, Dane Snadden from 7, Jeff Adams and Jake Jackson from 8, Matt Stewart and Guy Leach from 9, Sam Muir and Richard King from row 10. They keep coming. Nick Wood, Alex Schmidt from 11, Adam Lavis, Joe Baldwin from 12, Brett Bradbury, Chuk Fang Wong from 13, Adam Schultz and Paul Wilson from 14, Callum Heinrich and Jonathan Hooper from 15. And then we go beyond that to Jared Gilbert, Greg Padgett and David Christensen. Stephen Gallacher to join the grid as well. Sean Rees, Kurt Chapman and Shane Ewens may not join. We'll wait and see on that. Still waiting for a couple of cars to line up on the grid here on the streets of Long Beach. 37 cars in the server. There's the track and circuit info, 3.14 kilometres, 1 o'clock in the afternoon on June 7, 2023. 42-degree track temp, 18-degree ambient. Still not buying that for a summer day in California, just quietly. Typical iRacing, just missing the mark on the weather front, but that's okay.
And for your interest, Adam, Trent Lavis is still alive. The message hiding underneath there. So, yeah, hot track. This is going to be really interesting, I think. Oops, going live again. There we go. I pressed a button by mistake. With just about 6 seconds to go, and we'll be away.
Set for a start. Matty Dench and Samuel Sproul on the front row. Round 8 of the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup from the streets of Long Beach. Racing. Beautiful start from Dench.
Look out.
Job done. Four wide and against the concrete, but they somehow kept it clean. The drag race down to the left-hander. Dench to lead them at the turn. And cleanly. 3 wide. Concrete walls everywhere you look. But somehow they're all through the first corner. Matty Dench skips clear.
Oh, there's a couple of crashes lighting up the screen at the moment. We'll get back to that in just a little bit. Oh, it's all going off back a little bit further in the pack. Yellow flag.
Safety car. They've got a safety car. This is left field for the Porsches. We've kept it relatively clean throughout the course of the season. What's going on here?
Well. Yeah, so all a bit mischievous.
Well, good to see that race control's got some work to do for a change.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. And we do thank Ben Woods for for what he's doing in there. He's got Lee Williamson on board as well. So we'll just have a quick look. First one showing up on my screen is Joe Baldwin. So what have you done, Joe? Let's have a look. The KFC car just...
Okay, so where was the pile-up? Did it come out of the pool? Yeah, it did, by the look at that.
Someone's gone right through. Yeah, just behind me.
Yeah, there it is.
So,
there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's all it took.
Richard King was the next one involved in the incident. Yes, Trent, you've still got it, mate. As we go, checked up in there, nose to tail, nose to tail, nose to tail. That's like one of your Queensland motorway jobs. And then
exactly.
Then people just not being patient enough. And it all turned to that brown smelly substance we're all so familiar with. I'm not sure if this is the same incident. Oh, yes, it is. So this is where they just started concertina into one another. Jonathan Hooper was, he was in the back of that. So it's all the one big...
Through the bushes.
Yeah.
We don't like seeing the safety car because we do end up losing racing laps, but there's not much we can do in that instance because, as we saw, the field was balked up, parked on track, and the track was blocked momentarily. So this will allow everybody to sort themselves out and clean it up, and we'll go back racing very shortly. Big movers on the opening lap. Shane Wright up 3 spots, Gordon Ramsay up 2, Sam Muir up 6, Matt Stewart up 3 spots, Joe Baldwin up 7, if you don't mind, to be the second of the open split runners at the moment. Chuk Fang Wong up 6, Brett Bradbury up 4, Paul Wilson up 4. Jonathan Hooper and Jared Gilbert up 3 apiece. The big losers, Brett Barker and Dane Snadden down 19 apiece. Sean Rees, Shane Ewan's non-starters, Kurt Chapman out of business in pit lane, 2 laps down. Looks like he's actually got back out there, so he might only be a lap down once iRacing's timing system corrects itself, and
might
we'll have
even get it.
35 on the racetrack. Wow.
Might even get a drive.
He might,
that
yeah.
way. But, the reason a lot of drives a long way down is no one could get by to actually make up a lot of spaces through that complex. It's very much one lane, and even when you're side by side, there's no way you can get by the next bloke because the next corner comes at you very quickly, and you find yourself way out of position. Course.
Gentlemen Sim Racing
Yes.
Club and Thursday Night Motorsport proudly brought to you by Waste Options, Blackout Electrical Solutions, Login Systems, West Orange Motors, Astute Finance, Insurance and Wealth in East Brisbane. I've got neither of the three listed. Fisher and Door Lawyers, and also, of course, Flash Graphics. So we're behind safety car. It's the second lap of which we've had this caution period.
Lights are out.
Lights are out on the safety car. Matty Dench has just passed it. That's how keen he is to get going. The safety car will pass him back once more. Lights are out on the safety car, so we'll get going this time by at the end of lap 3 at the start of lap 4. And then the gloves will be off, Grant. Hopefully they'll be able to keep it a little bit cleaner this time around, being single file and all, but it is Long Beach after all.
Yeah, rolling start should allay some of those fears, but down the end of the first straight, you can see the boys trying to get some heat in the tyres. I'm not sure if that does any good on iRacing. I think you have to be doing well over 100 Ks for it to give you much of a benefit, but they like to do it. 4 wide turn 1, I reckon, Trent, is a good chance. We'll just call you Baba Vaga, is it? The Nostradamus, the blind lady who's got a nuclear explosion tipped for later this year. We're hoping you're not as malicious as she, but 4 wide turn 1, good chance of it.
Just updating you on Thursday night sporting action around the grounds. The cricket at the Oval. We've lost another wicket. Steve Smith gone in the 120s, I think it was. 6 for 391 with Carey and Stark at the crease. So India should be batting sometime a little bit later on today. But 6 for 391 is going to put the Aussies in a fairly good position in the first innings. They're putting close enough to 400 runs on the board in the World Test Championship final first innings.
Yeah, if Starkey can see the ball, hit the ball, we could be 450, 500 before we go too much further. Here we go.
Exactly. Green, let's get to work on the streets of Long Beach. Matty Dench takes off cleanly. Here's Lazarus. Lazarus making a lunge and then decides to back out of that one. Dench is wide! Dench is wide! And Corey Lazarus has gifted the lead in race 1. Oh, can you believe that? Dench drops out of the top 15. Another championship defining moment potentially for the number 1. Can you believe the season we're seeing? Can you believe that Matty Dench now finds himself in 26th position? He's lost 25 spots and all through a pinch of the brake. Wow. Let's have a look at it, Grant. He's just gone too deep under brakes, hasn't he?
He has.
He's just missed the marker.
Yep, and rather than put it in the wall, he's spun it around, so he doesn't have to go via the pits, but 26 spots, that's going to make for a very interesting passage for him. Trent, I suggested on Monday night that perhaps he was self-handicapping. He hasn't had his run of luck that has followed him for such a long time. Perhaps he finally ran out of luck, that is. So
down the main straight again.
Blackout
it does make it exciting. You are right, Trent Lavis. It does make it exciting. But maybe a little bit too close for comfort on this occasion. Aaron Cooper, the fastest over the race, 121.548. Kai Ardley in 7th place at the moment. Lazarus Sproul, Hobson up into 3rd, up 3 spots, right up 5 into 4th. Remember, we've got an invert top 10 coming up, which means the fireworks are going to be let off once again.
Yes, indeed. Hopefully by then some of the adrenaline will have passed and they can settle down and
Maybe.
have a better go at it. But yeah, maybe. I think I'll keep an eye out for some pigs flying past as well in a minute. Yes, Veronica, you and us both. Not Zach, but yeah, you see that and you think, my word, what's going on there?
I am a little bit, because it's 3 trip ups in the space of 3 weeks, or 3 events that I've commentated for Matty Dench. He tripped up at Watkins Glen with the pit lane stop and hold for the speeding in pit lane. He got done again this week in the sprint round there as well in GT3. And now, yeah, uncharacteristic mistakes from the seasoned veteran and 5-time champion in the Porsche Cup and also the GT3 Championship, Matty Dench. Extraordinary scenes here. Gordon Ramsay, 1 minute 20.782, the fastest lap of the race thus far, in 10th place. And Corey Lazarus at the end of lap 5 leads by 1.1. We're at the start of lap 6. We're in the 10th minute of play. We've got 6 minutes to go once we come back across the line. I reckon we'll be about 4 laps from home. Maybe 5, just depending upon how it all plays out. They might just sneak another one in. Just depends on the timing of them coming back across the line, because you see it'll be when they come back across the line, it's a 16-minute race. So 1 minute 23 of them gets you to 4. Yeah, I think we're going to get 5 in here. So we're on lap 6. I think we're going for 11 in this opening race on the streets of Long Beach. And given that we're on that far side of 5 minutes 20 as they come across the line, I think that'll get us into overtime to get to 11 laps, but I think we'll get there by a fair margin. Down the main straight we go. 5-second penalty for Greg Padgett for racing room on Adam Tice. That was on lap 4. 1 minute 20.613 for Shane Wright. It's the fastest lap of the race thus far. Good battle pack forming there, actually, Grant. 2nd through 6th.
Yes, indeed. Dench is back up to 21st. Nick Wood, the next one in front of him. You can see him alongside the colour-coded classes there, and he's right in amongst the open field. So, yes, it is Trent. So they may look at him and go, look, you're not my race, but maybe not as well. So now Hobbo closes right in the back of Sam Sproul.
Look at that. Very, very... Yeah, the Zaculator is getting work out tonight. Don't worry about that. Again, maths isn't my strong point, especially on nights like this. Yeah, no margin for error and barely anything in it. Millimetres between Brenton Hobson and Samuel Sproul, and Hobbo giving him the hurry up. Sproul trying to go with Lazarus. 1.1 the margin round onto the main straight. Hobbo a little bit of a bog run out of there, a little bit wide. On the exit, lost a little bit of time. Under pressure from Shane Wright and Ben Pedersen as well. Down the main straight we go. To turn 1. 4 minutes left on the clock.
Oh, he's taking a dive down there.
Oh, no! The wall goes Hobson! Chain reaction! Brenton Hobson has been sent packing. Oh! Can you believe he's locking the Porsche?
Yeah,
he's had none.
Bit of a hesitant move by, who was it, Sproul? Wright, I think.
No, it was right. It was right.
Oh, big net code. Massive net code.
Yeah, I was going to say it was right, but it was wrong at the same time.
I see what you did there. Yeah, Hobbo, I think he just got out of therapy from his last session in the Porsches, and he's back. He'll be back making an appointment for the morning.
First thing, he'll be the first customer through the door, unfortunately, Brenton Hobson. My goodness, 3 laps to go at the line.
Maybe an invoice to pay there, but there was a lot of net code on that may have happened
looked
anyway.
Like from our angle.
Yeah, the Blackout boys absolutely taking control of this race with Lazarus and Sproul. Pedersen is then, he was caught up in that a little bit. He's just got by Shane Wright, but they're three and a bit seconds back. Here we go. This will be interesting into the first corner.
A championship-defining moment, and now have a look at Wright and Pedersen side by side. Wright to hold on to third. Does so for the moment. And Aaron Cooper's right there and they're millimetres from the wall.
Kai Ardley still...
These guys are on the ragged edge. They're on the limiter.
Yeah,
it's great.
Kai Ardley putting in his usual solid performance here, running in 6th place. And he's, of course, 3rd in the championship. So with Dench now up to 17th, there's plenty going on in the points. That'll be for Adam to work out for us. This is Nick Wood. And turn 1, Long Beach.
Oh.
And right in front of him, Chuck
Bang.
Long had a go as well. So we know it. Every time we come here, we get the same old accidents, but plenty of good action.
Oh, yeah. The Australians have moved along to 6 for 400 at the Oval, so 400 up and 4 wickets in the can. I reckon they'll bat out the innings. There's no point declaring when you're 6 down. The tail will wag or wag depending upon how it goes, and then India can have a bat this afternoon. Now, Trent Lavis makes a good point. Adam Lavis has been in the lane for a while, but he has he got back out there? I'm just having a look. No, it doesn't look like he has got back out there. That's interesting. Down 10 spots. I'm not seeing any pit light light up on my screen here at the moment. There are 35 cars in the race, but it looks like we've lost Lavis, Christensen and Muir. Fung Wong's in pit lane at the moment. Greg Padgett there is more than a lap down now on the competition in 31st. I'm not really sure what's going on there for Adam Lavis, if I'm honest with you, Trent. Pedersen, the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 20.608. Lazarus will get the white flag next time by the line, and thankfully Barney will be back in a visible position, thankfully, not before time. 1 minute 20.724 for Lazarus last time round. Lazarus, Sproul, Wright, Cooper, Ardley, Pedersen, Shepherd, Roney, Ramsey and Stewart, the top 10.
Yeah, don't know why he's been in there. Haven't the time to stick with him to find out. There certainly wasn't an incident logged against him.
Well, it might be a strat call early pit. Well, let's be honest, it'd be an early pit, all right. Considering that there's not a scheduled pit stop in the sprint races, T. Lazarus. Corey Lazarus on his last lap now. Clock expires at the top of your screen there. It's only just expired, but Lazarus is going to squeeze this final lap in and take another race win in the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. And under investigation is the incident involving Ben Pedersen and Jordan Malcolm on lap 10 as well. So there's been another incident.
So
Jordan Malcolm has dropped down the order. Matty Dench has fought his way back to 13th.
3 to go to get up to
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
No.
And all of a sudden, that invoice that he pays for the incident in race 1 bites doubly hard because he'll be paying it still in race 2.
And
game-changing moments. Hobson back out there in 28th as well.
When we looked at the points, the number against Dench in used up. Where are we? I'm just trying to look on another sheet of how many points he's used.
Checkered flag. Corey Lazarus will get the job done on the streets of Long Beach. Job is done. Lazarus takes victory. Nicely played. Sproul, Wright, Cooper, Ardley, then Shepherd and Pedersen. And Ramsey made up the top 8. Stewart and Adams made up the top 10. Adams the best place to the open split. Leach, Jackson and Dench in behind that.
Yeah, just looking at the drop round points, Matt Dench has already dropped 94 points and Corey Lazarus has dropped 96 points. So there's not a lot of fat on the bone there, not a lot of meat on the bone to do. So it's going to go right down to the wire for these boys, and particularly with Dench picking up 13th there. Not looking good. Another wicket. We may as well just stream the cricket.
May as well. Thank you, Trent Lavis, for that update. Yes, Starkey's gone for 5, 7 for 402 at the Oval. So that will bring Pat Cummins, the captain of the Australian cricket team, to the crease. And coming into the commentary box off the long run, our mate from across the Nullarbor, and it is a long run across the Nullarbor, Joe Baldwin.
I don't do any running these days. How are you,
Just
lads?
running late.
Yeah. Typical trade of Western Australia, just full stop. Joe, nice to have you on board as per usual, mate. The Porsche Open Cup going along nicely. What'd you make of race one, please?
Look, just made the most of the opportunities. There was that fair skirmish on lap one, and I think I went from 24th to 17th, and yeah, just picking up where people make mistakes. And it was, I think I said to you last time I was talking to you, this place is about minimising mistakes and staying out of, like just minimising your own and trying to stay out of other people's mistakes to get good results. And I don't know where I ended up overall in the Open Cup for that one. Actually, second. So,
Second, Joe, well done.
Yeah, and there's quite a few of the elite guys there behind us that they all made mistakes.
Tripped up.
Yeah, like Jordan, Magnus. I mean, like, what can you say about Denchi? I think he come from plumb last, and he got up and he passed me on the penultimate lap. So, and clean as a whistle too. So
yeah.
It's he just shows you, when you know what you're doing with these cars, what's possible. Because I struggled in qualifying and practice. I couldn't find a balance with the braking here, which it's always a struggle with this car, but. Here with all the braking bumps, not only on corner entry but on corner exit as well. If you throttle up too much, they'll bounce, spin the tyres, and your history, you go sideways. So a lot of the guys I think will fall into that in a close battle because there's a lot of really quick guys up the front there. So Corey, Samuel, and Shane Wright, good on them guys in the top three. And I'm sure Dench he missed out on the invert, but he'll certainly get up there by the end of it.
I reckon so. There'll be a fair bit of strat play at hand in this next race for sure. And let's not forget, if they have to throw the caution flag for whatever reason, that fuel saving will come into play.
Absolutely.
And it may be a no-stopper for someone like M. Dench. 15-second penalty for Ben Patterson for no racing room on Jordan Malcolm. Quickly going around the grounds. Titans 22 leading the West Tigers 6 at the moment, and at the Sydney Cricket Ground, we won't be too far off getting into the last quarter of the match between the Swans and St Kilda. And in fact, it's the end of the third quarter now. The Swans leading the way at 52-46, 7-10, plays 7-4. So it's a very tight contest there at the moment. Hey, Joe, what are your thoughts on race 2?
Same deal. I'm just going to try and stay out of trouble. I'm not in the championship chase. I haven't done enough rounds, but I do enjoy running well when I'm here. So we've got Jeff Adams, old mate Jeff Adams. He's a good racer. He's starting up the front there. So he finished 10th, so he's got the invert. So all the pressure's on him now for the start. So hopefully Jeff puts a good showing in for us Open guys.
Yeah,
so the Open split is going to lead us to green. That will be a talking point, Grant.
It will, and hopefully he doesn't do what Denchi did on the restart and run deep into the corner and wait for the whole field to go by.
Oh, no.
That's right.
Go and get amongst it, Joe. Good luck, mate.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
We'll chat to Trucker at the end. 4:06 local time. Sunset no threat here because, again, they observe daylight saving because they're a progressive and civilised part of the world. Second and final one of the night, round 8 of the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup from Long Beach. Let's do it. And unfortunately, Adams has been swamped, but unfortunately more so. Gordon Ramsay, I think it was, clattered the wall on the way through on the run. Actually, it was Ben Patterson on the run down towards turn 1. Adams has lost 2 spots already as they make it to the corner. Matt Stewart's going to lead them through. Now, let's see if we can avoid carnage. So far, Denchi squeezes through. Not everyone's so lucky. No Stephen Gallacher. He's in pit lane. Shane Ewan, Sam Muir, Sean Rees and David Christensen. And there's the log jam. There's your safety car. I don't think they'll have any choice but to chuck it. With cars parked that way through the racetrack. We'll wait and see. Yeah, oh, look at it. It's a car park. Again. Second time around, worse than the first.
Looks like
will they chuck a safety car or not? We'll wait
yet.
and see. They haven't yet. That will rule a few contenders out already early in the piece. And look at the logjam further back.
Shepherd down the inside. Oh,
brilliant manoeuvre.
Kai Hardley there
Shepherd
as well.
around the outside. Shepherd holding it into the final corner. They've not chucked a safety car. We're going to go green. We're going to stay green. Main straight. Oh, geez. Shepherd goes to second. Patterson to the lead. Adams back to third.
There's all sorts going on a little bit further back again. We'll have a look. Matt Stewart's been involved. Aaron Cooper
Schultz
involved.
lost 14 positions. Bradbury 12. Unfortunately, Trucker was involved and lost 19 positions. 11 gained for Adam Laverson, Chup Fang Wong, 7 for Nick Wood and Brenton Hobson. There's plenty of tails of the tape to pick apart there.
You know what's all that's happened there is very slow around that corner. It's showing up as crashes. Dench now up to 10th place. But yeah, it's I've got to adjust my incident speed because the hairpin just is too slow. It's like seeing them go around the hairpin at Monaco, and they're doing about 42 Ks. Oh dear. Joe Baldwin had another moment, so it's he's carrying damage from that earlier incident, and
crabbing and crabbing and crabbing. Oh no, that poor old Trucker. I dare say that's going to be parked at the back of the garage and not going any further. Poor old Joe Baldwin can't take a trick. Pedersen leads out of turn 11 and down the main straight again. Pedersen, Shepherd, Adams, Ardley, then Stewart, Ramsey, Wright, Cooper, Jackson, Dench, the top 10.
Yeah, Adams was quite slow off the line, I thought, and it almost looked to me like there might have been a little bit of a roll into the green flag. Have a look at him just past Barney there, and oh no, he's just slow away, and that's where
Yep.
Gordon Ramsay took the exit stage left but didn't realise the door was closed. Hit the wall.
Yeah, concrete waiting for you everywhere you look around the streets of Long Beach.
Pedersen skipped away to the 3.5 second lead over Dylan Shepherd.
Oh, Ramsey! Ramsey's dropped down the order. Ramsey's in trouble. Gordon Ramsay drops down to 15th. There he is, facing the wrong way. Ramsey out of the top 10 now in all sorts.
Nick Wood involved as well.
Oh, Ardley around the outside. Gets by Adams.
I think he's already...
Uh-oh.
I think he picked up some damage just prior to that.
I think so. Unlucky for Ramsey. Have a look at Schmidt down the inside.
Yeah, he's already hit the wall there. So
he has.
Then it just, broken suspension.
Compounds. So it's a 27-minute race this time around, and well, based on calculations, 1 minute 20 a lap. 3 of them get you 4 minutes. Keep that with me. 7 4s are 28, so 7 3s are 21. Take 1 away from that. Yeah, I think we're looking at 20. That would be our magic number tonight. There should be a little gadget you can press on your totem pole there, Grant, that actually takes time away and puts the lap counter in. So you might be able to clarify me on that in just a moment.
Yep. So this was Ardley going by Adams. Adams not fighting it because he's in the open split. So he's gone, you know what, you get through. And
you guys go at it.
Take some of your open class through there as well and leave me be for a minute. All right, let me see if I can find this.
Lap 4 of the sprint feature. And of course, we've got more great racing to come in the weeks ahead for the Porsches, ladies and gentlemen. As they come around onto the main straight, Corey Lazarus boxed in 12th place at the moment behind Samuel Sprout. Guy Leach just ahead of them. Across the line we go. Pedersen the leader, 1 minute 20.732. Reminding you that next week we take to the Hockenheim ring for 60 minutes. That'll be interesting. And then on to the Red Bull ring for 3 sprint races. So both the Red Bull ring races that we've got for you in the remaining couple of weeks of the season are in grand final week. Main course, GT3's 90 minutes. Porsches for a cumulative 70 minutes of racing. 3 hit-outs. A 5-second penalty for Alex Schmidt for the contact on Joe Baldwin. That hardly seems like an accurate penalty because poor old trucker is a lap down and out of business after being parked in the lane for a minute and a half. But hey, 5 seconds is 5 seconds. Now down the inside, Guy Leach boxed in there, having been passed. Oh, car on the wall! Hey, Aaron Cooper's gone! Aaron Cooper is gone! And unfortunately, the contenders are bringing themselves undone tonight. Ben Pedersen leads again across the line, 3.7 the margin to Kai Hardley to Shane Wright, then, to Dylan Shepherd to Kai Hardley to Shane Wright, then to Jeff Adams. Matt Stewart, Matty Dench up into 7th now, then Jake Jackson. Oh, that was what happened to Aaron.
Just clipped the wall on the inside ever so faintly, taking a bit of the proverbial by taking that much of the curb, but they let you do it, so he gave it a go.
And to Samuel Sproul, and also now Corey Lazarus has swapped around with Guy Leach and found his way into the top 10 as well.
Kai Hardley, fastest lap of the race, 1:20.42. In 3rd place and with a 1.8 second deficit to make up to Dylan Shepherd up in front.
Keep your eyes on those walls, ladies and gentlemen. They bite hard.
You might find Joe popping in the chat with us shortly. He's just jumped
I'd imagine so.
again, so not gone his way at all.
That might be curtains for Joe, which is unfortunate because it started out so well. Second home in the open split in the opening race. 1 minute 20.422, fastest lap of the race so far for Kai Hardley.
Denchi up to 6th place with a pass around Matt Stewart there. Stewart was going to give it a bit of a crack to get back by, but now it's Dench behind Adams, so Adams probably wouldn't be surprised if he makes it less than difficult for Matt to get by. So Matt on a recovery mission.
Yeah, on what do they call it? A reconnaissance mission. That's it. At the moment, and trying to salvage as best he can. Down the inside, makes light work of Jeff Adams. Adams leaves the door open, sees he coming, and lets him go. Back to Pedersen, race leader, going about his business just rather calmly and smoothly at the moment. Staying out of trouble, which is exactly what he needs to do. Well, hang on. Was there a car pointing the wrong way there, just on the left of shot on that last corner?
Didn't see it. It's not showing up.
No. Might just be the deception of the angle of the camera.
Yeah. Just
looked like there was a car looking there, unfortunately.
Not at all beyond the realms of possibility.
No. Through they come again. Log jam. Jake Jackson's in there, all over the back of Stewart, all over the back of Adams, all over the back of Dench. Round they come onto the main straight. Look at Dench, he's disappeared, he's bolted, he's gone. See you later.
Hardly closing this gap down. It was 1.8 before. Matthew Dench sets fastest lap of the race, 1:20.38. Kai's now right, closing up on the back of Dylan Shepherd. So this will be good for 2nd place.
Oh no, there's a car on the wall. That one's a lot easier to pick and tell.
That would have been
more
Jared
trouble.
Gilbert with his broken foot. If it wasn't broken before, it's broken now.
Exactly. So, just quickly as well, ladies and gentlemen, a bit of a showstopper happening in the AFL at the Sydney Cricket Ground. The Swans now trailing by 2 points. St Kilda leading 8-6 to 7-10. So 54 plays 52 with 16 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. And I think I might switch off the cricket and leave that on for the moment right off screen. We are 17 minutes away, 16 and a quarter minutes away.
Oh, look at this.
From the conclusion of this race here for the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. Jared Gilbert getting gobbled up from all angles there and just staying out of harm's way on the right-hand side. Heading down to the right-hander. Through they go again. And Lazarus in 9th place. Oh, jeez. A little bit of a bowl coming out of the final corner. Down the main straight. Matty Dench in clear air, 1 minute 20.096. But the problem for Dench is he's got what's that? 3.2 and 1 and 5. Yeah, so he's got about 10 seconds to try and catch Ben Pedersen. That's the biggest problem for Dench at the moment. A costly round in the Porsche Elite Cup for our 5-time champion. Is this the season? Didn't think we'd be saying this a couple of weeks ago, Grant Gilbert. Is this the season where the champion's reign finally grinds to a halt?
Well, you don't want to put the mocker on him, but it has to end somewhere. There goes the car around. That looks like one of the Bean Boss racing cars. So certainly a pink vehicle.
Could be Greg Padgett.
Yes, it was.
Down the back straight we go. Joe Baldwin's been in pit lane for just on 5 minutes now, so that's night done. That's curtains for Joe. And remembering that it says 19 laps. Well done, Grant. So my calculations were had us going to 20 or 21. Actually, no, I had 20 on the books.
It's on, Zach.
But we're not going to get there because we're capped at 19. Down the inside to turn 1. Kai Hardley gets by Dylan Shepherd. Very nicely done,
Dylan.
Now, just remember that, Grant, because if we get back to the line and we're still ahead of that 27-minute threshold, we can bill Adam Lavis for the lap that we lost. Okay.
There was a little bit of a mix-up last week. I think he took the non-boot configuration times for his estimations, but Matty Dench just set a 1:19.87 into the 19s.
There you go. He's on a charge, and Shane Wright is the next target. There they are. Shane Wright, the next target for Matty Dench. He's eyeing him off. Down towards turn 9 we go. Not yet.
You can see how bumpy it is
with
through
the
there.
5-time champion.
Yeah, the car's dipping and bucking and weaving as it goes through so many of these parts. You're always looking for another hand to turn the wheel just a little bit tighter through there.
Down the main straight, and he'll get a good tow along the main straight here.
Oh, big clutch. He's thrown
Huge
the clutch way back there.
A huge clutch. Oh boy, he's up to his old tricks here, is M Dench. And he'll happily tuck behind Shane Wright as long as Wright is maintaining some sort of reasonable speed here.
Jake Jackson, first of our pitters. He's short shifting as well to dull the power of the Porsche engine as he comes out of some of those corners. Has a big look down the inside there. This is very typically an American circuit, a bit like Circuit of the Americas, where they just put the walls in places about 200 metres wide. Make up your own line through there, fellas. We just couldn't be asked. Oh, good battle back here too. Adams, Rowney, Sproul, Lazarus. Adams just drifting back through the field, which was completely natural for him to do so as a open class driver, but still leading out by a good 16 seconds over, or no, about 3 seconds over Richard King.
Jeff Adams, the open split leader over Richard King, Paul Wilson and Chook Fung Wong at the moment, and it's a fairly handsome gap, as Grant said. We go back to Matty Dench, 5th outright.
And not pushing on particularly hard. Yeah, if the opportunity arises, I'm sure he'll jump right by. Oh, speak of the devil.
We've got Joe Baldwin.
Thought we might
popping
see
into
you,
the
Joe.
commentary box to have a chat to us far too soon for the sake of it, actually, Joe. Let's be perfectly honest. Unfortunately, that race start couldn't have gone any worse.
Hey, sometimes you're the windscreen, sometimes you're the bug, right?
yeah, exactly. Oh, mate.
No, it's it's.
Oh, hang on.
Touch, bang.
That's past the wall. He had no margin to play with there. He smacks the concrete. He tucks in behind right, and they go down to turn 9. Oh, boy. How about this? The pressure on the championship leader knowing that Corey Lazarus is doing what he's doing at the top end of town, knowing that it's going to come down to the final 2 weeks.
Straight in the pits.
This could not be any more pressure cooker a situation. This is actually probably the most intense pressure cooker situation that Dench has found himself in some time in this category.
I will say, though, that's actually, it's a smart move, Denchi coming in. It'll throw out his fuel-saving strategy that he loves to use. But B, once he gets it fast repair and fuel on board, he can drop the hammer and go for it. So, and he's minimised what would be his time loss because he hit the wall and came into the pits like 4 corners later, and that's what it's about. It's about minimising the damage to his race. So coming in, that's a smart move by Denchi.
And he was getting held up there as well. So he'll go for the undercut there. He's going
definitely.
To come back out in 15th spot, so he's quite familiar with working his way through the field here, but they should be assisted by a whole bunch of pitters at some stage here. There's not too many been through the lane.
With Denchi, we know what he's like. You only had to look and see how cleanly he passed me in race 1. He's very good at getting around people. I mean, look, I probably made it a little bit easy. Well, I didn't make it difficult for him, but I didn't open the door. He had the key. That's all. But he's a very, very, very intelligent racer, is Denchi. So I have all. He may not win this one from there. Like Ben Pedersen, Kai Ardley and Dylan Shepard are certainly some pretty handy little peddlers, and they've got fresh air out front. So they're going to be hard to chase down, but in saying that, it's about minimising his damage. And if he's lucky, he'll still have Corey behind him once the pit stops filter through, if Corey's going to pit. And I would suggest Corey's very fast. Like, don't know two ways about it. He's very fast, but I don't think he's on the level of fuel saving as Denchi. You go on board with the two, and their styles are completely different, even though they both get the lap time out of the car.
No, he said as much in discussions with him as well, Joe. He said, he's in the effort to try and catch Dench. He is using up most of his brain just to keep it going, and doesn't have that capacity to work on maintaining really good speeds. Pedersen's gone around again. Ardley and Shepard have come in from second and third. So
they've pitted?
Yeah. Ardley and Shepard coming into the pits now. Lazarus still running around, so Lazarus now promoted up to third place, yet to pit.
Third? Yeah, from the driver's seat, watching the guys go around during practice, Denchi's so smooth. Like his brake application, his turn-in points, he hits his apex almost every time. He runs it he uses all the track everywhere he goes. Whereas Corey, he might actually be faster than Denchi on occasions, but he's one of those drivers. Yeah, he's like Jimmy Richards was. He'd grab a car by the scruff of the neck and he'd throw it around the track to get the lap time out of it, which with the Porsche is probably a little harder on the tyres, and it's certainly a lot harder on his fuel economy. So I don't know that Corey will get to the end without stopping. Like I say, I think Denchi probably pitted to negate the wound from hitting the wall, and he doesn't have to save fuel now. So it's going to be good to see how it plays out for the last 4 laps.
Yep, Pedersen's in the lane. We've got 4 laps to go as Pedersen crosses the line to complete lap 15. Erin comes right as well. I tell you what, he was lucky not to crash into the lane. And then, of course, behind him, Corey Lazarus, the effective championship leader at the end of this round, if I've done my maths correctly. Roney is in the lane as well. Jordan Malcolm's the next placed driver on the racetrack. We've got our eyes on him at the moment. He comes round onto the main straight, and he is going to continue on for another lap. Is Jordan Malcolm? Is he up to his GT4 tricks from a couple of weeks ago, which only come undone on the last lap when he had a spin at Laguna Seca? Let's go. Matty Dench out in 4th place. Matty Dench out in 3rd place. Matty Dench
So
He's not going to lead this thing, but he's going to be third behind Malcolm, who's right there with Pedersen.
He's jumped Shepherd, Ardley, Wright, and Lazarus. I keep calling him Lazarus.
Yeah, no, he's already in front of him. Lazarus was back in about 6th or 7th at the time, but
he was when he. Yeah. Okay.
So
So
Dench now half a second behind Malcolm, with 3.5 second gap back to Dylan Shepherd.
And Jordan Malcolm, he hasn't pitted, or he has.
Has not.
He has not pitted, so trying to see there. He's not that far behind, so he should get Jordan. Ben's pitted, so I think Ben might get the win here. But look at it, he was quite a fair bit up the road.
Yep,
So
Malcolm's
what's he? 2.2 seconds up the road now. He's got what's he got? Six minutes? Was it a 28 minute race? Was it
3 laps?
3 laps. There you go. So he's got 3 laps to close that in. Now, we know what Dench is like when he gets a bit between his teeth. It's going to be on here in 3 laps.
Indeed it is. He's got by Jordan Malcolm. He's now chasing Ben Pedersen. Last time around, we'll get an indication as to where they were on lap times in just a moment. Of course, Pedersen came out of the lane, so we'll need to have another look at that. And the other point that's working against them and working for me, just have a look at that clock, boys. I want it noted that we're going to finish ahead of that 27-minute threshold, so we could have actually gone to 20. I want that noted. I want that documented.
Duly noted.
Just to prove that the Zaculator was actually on point.
Did anyone ever question it?
Well, I'm not sure if they. Yeah, no. I was certainly second guessing myself when I saw 19 come up there, and I was like, hang on a moment. What's going on here? Pedersen, Dench, Malcolm, Shepherd, and Ardley, the top 5. Back to Shane Wright, Corey Lazarus, Matt Stewart, Samuel Sproul, and Magnus Roney, the top 10. Up 8 spots for Roney, up 11 for Dench, up 13 for Malcolm, if you don't mind. Go for it, Joe.
Take a look at the split time. Sector 1, 2, and 3. He's clawing back the time.
Half a second in Sector 3. And
it's down to 1.4.
Just 3.
It's down to 1.4. Down they come, main straight, 2 laps to go, and Dench is pulling out all stops to try and get the job done.
19.836.
Can Pedersen withstand the pressure?
If you thought he was fast when he was saving fuel, look at what he can do with a full tank.
Exactly. As long as he doesn't scrape any concrete, this is on.
That was a second faster that last lap, as we saw.
Just ridiculous.
Pedersen sets his fastest sector of the race for Sector 1. Denchi, 5th of the second faster. He's right.
0.974 faster than Pedersen last time around. Just ridiculous what this guy is capable of. Down inside a second now. The distance between the pair, the margin, the deficit. Dench is holding back nothing. He's throwing everything at it and then some. As they head down, and look at Pedersen, he knows, he's sensing it as well. He's weaving left to right, trying to break the toe. Into turn 9 we go. Lap 19 is the final one. The white flag is about to be waved. They know that the next flag after that is the checker, and that's when the thing finishes. Round they come onto the main straight. 1 lap to go on the streets of Long Beach. And Matty Dench, is he about to pull off a masterclass? Another one that the 6-time champ in potential in the making is capable of, and we've seen it so many times before.
Joe, you were talking about the way Dench drives. His corner entry and corner mid-speed is just way above anyone else. That's where he makes his time, on the way in and on the apex.
Watch the next corner.
He'll get a good run through here with that mid-corner speed. Just say, look at that.
A touch of the wall.
Pedersen balked him a little bit as well, boys. Pedersen did balk him a little bit. Dench to the outside.
Defensive.
Dench has got him here. Unless,
brake tech.
Dench, he's playing really smart. He's balking the car up, like he's propping it up on the apex so that he's cutting out Dench's run. Dench's hung back here. He mightn't get him. I tell you what, Pedersen's done a very, very smart last lap here. He's made it hard for Denchi.
Terrific defence from Pedersen. Will it fall short for Dench, or is he about to pull off a last corner manoeuvre? Round they come. Final corner. Patterson goes tight. Dench goes wide. Patterson's got this. Ben Patterson is going to join the winner's circle in the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. Can you believe that? Matty Dench second. And it could just be a drive that helps save his championship campaign. Up into second from 13th on the grid.
Wow.
Had it not been for that bump on the wall, he very well may have got Ben in that one. But I'll tell you what, big pat on the back to Ben Pedersen. Oh, yeah. That was a great drive on the last lap. He did everything he needed to do. He kept it straight, he kept it tight, and he was propping the car on the apex where everywhere where there's a passing opportunity here, Pedersen had him covered. He got in a little bit shallow, so he couldn't get under him. Yep. He propped the car up on the apex and got good exits off. And unfortunately, Denchi just, wasn't given the opportunity to make a move. So, big props to Ben Pedersen. Great drive.
Yeah, and I misspoke when I said brake check. It was what I meant to say was exactly what you just very eloquently put. He was just holding him up on the apex, as is entirely appropriate to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and on a track like this, we know how hard it is to get by, and so that was brilliant defensive driving, and also equally fantastic run through the field from Matthew Dench.
I can't quite believe that. I cannot quite believe that. Great, and I mean, just brilliant racecraft from Ben Pedersen to know exactly where to place that car, where Denchi was going to be looking to, put the foot to the throat, so to speak, and withstood the pressure. Somehow found a way to keep the champion on his ultra charge home at bay. That is, testament to Pedersen. He won't withstand pressure much more intense than that. Much better than that. Experienced campaigners in this club wouldn't have been able to do what he just did there. Just to deliberately play that gamesmanship that he did, and
show the pace.
Up. That was brilliant.
To show the pace he had. Remember, 2 laps earlier, he had. You just took me away. He had Jordan Malcolm passed 2 laps earlier, and he put 5.5 seconds on Jordan. And we know how fast Jordan is. It just shows you how hard he was going to try and catch Ben at the end there. Jordan and Kai Adley have joined us in the booth, but like I say, Jordan, he's no slouch in these cars, but that just shows the marks that Denchi was putting on. He just came up just short.
Fellas, we'll elaborate on all that with these boys in just a moment. Just going to update you at the Sydney Cricket Ground. St Kilda have extended their lead out to 8 points, 10-8-68 to 8-12-60 over the Swans. I had a dyslexic moment there, read the behind score first. So 8-12 plays 10-8, and St Kilda leading by 8 points. About to be 14 because they've just marked right in front of goals. So St Kilda are going to win tonight at the Sydney Cricket Ground in that Thursday night AFL. The Swans' misery continues. Earlier, the Titans got the job done over the Tigers, 28-12, and Australia at lunch on day number 2 of the World Test Championship finale. They're at the Oval in London. Just 8 slips away from the Ashes, boys. We're very excited about that. 7 for 422. Now,
how about Jeff Adams? 13th,
to pick all one apart, exactly. Jeff Adams started on pole, and somehow we're still 4 cars clear, 4 positions clear of the next best in the open split. So Jeff Adams has made himself no enemies tonight. He kept out of harm's way with the elite boys working their way through, minded his own business, and still netted a top 15 result. Pretty fair effort.
Well done, Jeffrey.
Absolutely.
I did tell you to keep an eye at the start of the race too, between the 2 races. I said keep an eye on Jeff. He's starting up the front, and look, we all know Jeff's a good racer. He's clean. It's not often he gets involved in any incidents, and around a track like this with some of the monsters that were bearing down on him when the green flag dropped, he's done a great job for the night. So well done.
Yeah, and also Dane Snadden just recently promoted up to the elite from the Open. and he came home with a 15th. And I expect a few incidents along the way, and not necessarily of his doing.
What a night. And by the way, boys, we can tick the box. Hello, David Kirby. Hang on. Yeah, it is 20 minutes to 10, so I can actually technically get away with what I'm about to say here, and I'm going to say it anyway. David Kirby is winding me up, and I'm okay for it because I put it out there this afternoon on social media because I've been asked over the years, Zach, why don't you get involved in drag racing, this, that, and the other? And like, take nothing away. It's one of the great spectacles of the drag racing calendar, the Winter Nationals, the biggest event of the year, and the irony of it happening on a long weekend for everybody else except the state that it's being held in. But for me, as someone that likes to watch a race unfold like what we just did here and tell the story and let it ebb and flow, drag racing for mine, and apologies if this offends anybody, is motorsport's answer to premature ejaculation. I don't know what it is. I just cannot get into it. It just doesn't do much. Like, I mean, the noise and the spectacle that goes with that noise, second to none. It's loud and it's vibrant, and that's all good and well. But from a commentator standpoint, it does nothing for me.
Kirby is a.
You're not jealous that it lasts longer than you are, you Zach?
No, actually, to be making that comparison, Joe, I'd have to be out of a 3.5 year drought. But that's another story.
Kirby is a surgical sledger. He picks his point, he sharpens his scalpel, and just inserts it very gently between the ribs. He is a cracker.
He's fantastic. A lot can happen in 3.8 seconds. Okay. All right. Let's press on here. Let's get on with it before I get in any more trouble. Anyway.
Is that possible?
No. John and Malcolm, Kai Ardley are here, so too Matty Dench and Brenton Hobson. And Denchy, it's not like you to make a mistake like that. So did you miss your braking marker? Did you pinch your brake? What happened there in race one?
The braking point was perfectly fine. I think it was just because I was running offline. There wasn't as much grip, and I started to run back out to the outside, and we just couldn't get the car pulled up.
All right, and obviously, unfortunately, because you're parked where you were, you just had to watch the field walk on by. Yes, Kirby's work here is done. Goodbye. Thanks for stopping by. See you next week. Denchy, like full applause. The recovery, fantastic, second to none. And we'll talk about the two parts of that in just a moment. But it must have been frustrating there watching the field just waltz on by and potentially a championship-defining moment.
Yeah, I think just because these cars off the restart, front tyre's a bit cool. I think if I pull out and go into that racing line, I think I'll just get collected. I don't think anyone will avoid that. So we just had to sit and wait for a gap.
Yep, I would agree. That's about the only option open to you, because had you come out and someone did have an accident, you would have been copping a penalty for unsafe rejoin. So you know, sometimes you just got to take your lumps, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. You don't want a penalty on top of it. Car's got great pace. We can always make up a few positions and try and do a bit of damage limitation.
You did a good job of limiting the damage, Denchy. I was saying to the guys there, from the back of the grid, you got up and you passed me for 13th in race one, and probably one of the cleanest passes on me for the night, mate. It was, you always clean the race with, everybody knows that. But the fight back in the second race was certainly something to behold. The little bump into the wall there when you were trying to get around, was it Kai Ardley? If you hadn't had that little nudge into the wall, do you think you would have sort of a bit better chance up the front there chasing down Ben?
It's kind of hard to tell. Like, I probably should have pit a little bit earlier once I started getting up near the front to the faster guys, because it was starting to get a bit hard to get by. And we just bumped our wall, and we just tweaked the steering a little bit. So we just jumped straight into pit, grabbed the fuel, and try and get some clean air. Minimise
the impact to the race at the back end. Well, the last couple of laps, Denchy, look, I don't know what the other guys think, but they're probably two to three of the best laps I think I've seen you put down in the Porsche, chasing Ben, Dan, you were between 2 and 4 tenths faster per sector on the last couple of laps. You got to be proud of that, even though you didn't come away with the win.
Yeah, most definitely. We're pushing the car to the very edge of the limits on those last few laps, and we just didn't quite have enough.
He was pretty smart on that last lap too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I tried to go for a bit of over/under, and he just parked it on the apex, and I gave him a bit of a bump there, and lucky he kept it straight.
Well, to be fair, Denchi, he left you no choice. There was nowhere to go. You had to bump him. There was nothing tactical about it on your part. The tactics from Pedersen actually led to him getting the tag from you, if nothing else.
Yeah, so when someone defends like that, you just got to try and make a decision if they're going to park it on the apex or they're going to run it out wide. And I made the guess that he was going to run it out wide and tried to sneak it under, but he saw it coming and just didn't press the throttle.
Were you impressed by the defensive work of Pedersen there, and the fact that you're one of the benchmarks of the club, and he was able to withstand such pressure given how quickly you closed that gap, as Joe was talking about, as you guys were making your way into the booth. You pulled 5.5 seconds on Jordan Malcolm in the last 3 laps, or 5.25 seconds on Jordan Malcolm in the last 3 laps as you were closing that gap to Ben.
Yeah, like Ben's defense there was just flawless. He saw what I was trying to do, and he executed the kind of block on the apex perfectly. It's what you would expect a top driver to do.
Yeah, absolutely right. No, very nice performance from Benny Pedersen. That's a few championship points that you would have liked, no doubt, given the closeness of the thing at the moment with Corey Lazarus breathing down your neck. Everything to play for in the last 2 weeks, and every point is going to be vital.
Yeah, so I think next week's going to be really, really big ones, like 100 points up for grabs if you get to a clean sweep, so we'll have to make something happen there.
The Hockenheim Ring awaits next week for a 60-minute enduro, and then on to the Super Sprint round at the Red Bull Ring after that, and we're very excited about that already. Just reminding everybody that coming into tonight, Denchi only had 11 points on Corey Lazarus. Lazarus, of course, won the first race, but then only managed to finish 7th in that second race. And I just get the feeling that we might have a change at the top of the tree after that, considering that Denchi finished outside the top 10 in 13th place and then bounced back to finish 2nd. But we'll wait and see what the drop rounds and all the other calculations do to that. We're very excited by what's unfolding here, though, Denchi, because it's not like you to be under this much pressure at this end of the championship. Normally, you've created yourself a nice little handsome buffer to play with. No such luck on this occasion.
Yeah, like the last few seasons or so, we've come into these final rounds with a pretty comfortable lead, and we just sort of have a little bit of fun. And this time it's coming down to the wire, and we're actually going to have to put on a good show, I think.
Take championship number 6. It's within reach. It's there. It's staring you in the face. It's just a matter of reaching out and snatching it. And whether it's this season or whether it eludes you for one, and one of the great winning streaks in both Monday night and Wednesday, now Thursday night motorsport comes to an end. Only time will tell. It's going to be a fascinating final fortnight, mate.
Yeah, it's just like with so many points on the line next week. If we don't get a good result there, it's basically over. But we'll try and make it happen.
Hockenheim's a different kettle of fish as well, because it throws up good racing. Normally we go there in sprint mode, but it probably works better in your favour that we're going there in enduro trim in 60-minute mode.
Yeah, enduro there would be really, really good for me. I've done many endurance races there before and absolutely love the track, so it should be really fun.
Very nicely done. Just jumping in again to remind everybody that the Swans lost by 14 points tonight against St Kilda. But Buddy Franklin's getting chaired off the ground at the moment by his teammates for game 350, one of the greats of the sport, and now 4th on the all-time goal kickers list as well. So well done, Buddy. Magnificent stuff. Denchi, you must have been lucky to avoid the carnage in that second race start, because obviously the first race, you're at the front, all the rubbish happens behind you, but mid-pack was right in the thick of all the trouble at the start of that second race.
Yeah, not going to lie, I was pretty nervous sitting there starting in 13th place and making it 3 wide off the start to grab a couple of spots and put in front of Corey early on. And I think it was the end of the first lap. Maybe we was huge check up at the last corner and managed to just sneak it through down the inside and grab a couple more spots. So yeah, it worked out quite all right.
Indeed, it did. And what about the way in which Corey's gone about his business? In fact, the whole field's gone about their business brilliantly. I mean, tonight we've seen the emergence of Ben Pedersen as a force to be reckoned with. Corey's been nipping at your heels all season. Kai Ardley's been impressive. Dylan Shepherd was due a bit of luck, got a top 5 finish tonight. Unfortunately, our old mate Brenton Hobson couldn't buy any luck. And he is standing by to have a chat to us in just a moment. Joe Baldwin, on that note, thank you to you. I know you're about to leave the room, but we appreciate you chiming in from the other side of the Nullarbor, and we'll catch up with you next week.
No problem. I'll be either in a driver or a commentary position. We'll see what happens.
You're always welcome in here, mate. We do appreciate that. Thank you. Just going back to you, Denchi. Yeah, if nothing else, the way in which the quality of the field has just continues to shine and improve season on season. That's the telling factor for mine.
Yeah, it's really good to see everyone improving and picking up their pace. It's really keeping me on my toes these days.
Very nicely done. Stay there with me, mate. Might come back to you if we get a chance here in the back end. Let's bring in Brenton Hobson in the meantime. Oh, geez. Where do we start with that, Hobbo?
Let's just start after the checkered flag at the end of race 2. That's where my night started to get a little better.
You ended up in the thick of it. I think you got a helping hand in race 1 and a fair one at that. And that made a rod for your own back because you were buried in the mid-pack and all of a sudden, trying to avoid being a pinata there, even actually trying to avoid anything in that second race at the start. Cars were just parked left, right and centre and there was nowhere to go.
Yeah, nicely demonstrated on screen. Thanks for that, Grant. Copped the, I don't know who it was, but copped the old Long Beach lunching in race number 1, and that was pretty frustrating because I was actually quite happy just cruising around. I wasn't particularly fast, but I was quite happy just cruising. I think we were in like 3rd place or something, so just doing okay. And then the start of race, that ended race 1 obviously, and then race 2, the start you just saw was complete mess, and I didn't know that you couldn't put more fuel in the car than you start with, so I pitted on lap 1 thinking I was real smart, getting all my damage fixed and fueling up to the finish. And then I realised that I then had to do a fuel saver just to make it anyway. So race 2 was a bit in the bin as well, so sort of just wobbled around really. But nonetheless, it's been, a few weeks since I last turned up in the Porsche where I killed half the field then. So at least tonight it was half the field killing me instead, so that's all right.
Get square. Yeah, I thought you'd probably only just finished your therapy session after that, your last entry into the competition, and you might have another session booked for the morning, perhaps. Yeah,
that's right. I set up some new streaming overlays and stuff tonight, so I just was jumping on to find something to race really, so I could test out some stuff, and thought, well, you know what, it can't get a lot worse than the last time I was here in Porsche, so maybe we'll just come and have a go again. What track are we at? Long Beach. What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
True. In saying all of that, Hobbo, I thought you'd sworn off this caper for a lot longer than you actually did. It was a nice surprise to see your name there in the server when we arrived tonight. And you had pace, there's no disputing that. But as soon as you run into any sort of misfortune around here, it's like pushing the proverbial uphill.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks. And it was, like I said, the second race, I thought, I'm starting, last. We'll see how far we can get. I was actually looking forward to having a bit of a burn and seeing what we could do with some strategy and stuff. But like I said, I put myself into a fuel saver straight away. I had to save, I don't know, like half a litre a lap or something, even just to make it. So in the end, it was really just a roll around and didn't probably get to see what sort of pace I had. But I did manage to stay off the walls of my own accord for the night, which is probably a bonus in this car for me. I so desperately want to like this car. I really do. I love everything about it except for how it drives. And it's appealing to me in every way, except that every time I get in it, I just can't stand how it understeers the way it does. And, I actually enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed driving around tonight in the end. It wasn't too bad, but after I sort of got used to it, but it was a shame that I didn't really get out there and mix it up with everybody.
Indeed. In saying all of that as well, what is next for Brenton Hobson? Do you come back and persevere with this thing and try and find something you like about it and try and master the craft? Or are you going to just give up quit while you're ahead, so to speak?
I think it's the nature of me and my style of racing in that I'll come and have a dip in it every now and then when I'm looking for something to do, just to have a bit of fun with, really. I mean, I'm not going to be able to master it. Like, there's no point coming here thinking, spend 2 or 3 weeks, I might be able to race Denchi. Like, that's just silly talk. And the problem for me is that driving these type of cars, it's really detrimental to my speed in the supercars because they're so different. But I'll probably keep coming back occasionally when I'm sort of feeling like it on the certain night here and there when I don't have anything else on. I like coming and running in the GSRC. Like, it's good fun and it's a good bunch of people to come and race with. So that's why I sort of keep coming back whenever I can. But I don't think I'll commit to trying to master this particular car. But it is one that I enjoy. Like I said, I love everything about it except for how it drives. Like, I want to spend time in it. I like driving it. It looks awesome. It sounds good. It's, everything about it's great, except that I find it frustrating to drive. But I'll try and come back as often as I can.
So next time you're feeling really good with life and everything's going well, you'll come back just to level yourself up a bit.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I'm sucker for my own punishment, really. But I'll come back here and maybe punch more people and feel bad about myself again for a bit, and then take another few weeks off and come back again.
It's always good having you.
I can relate. I can relate to being a sucker for punishment. I live in Queensland, as you know. So,
and anyway, that's a choice, Zach.
I made a bad choice, clearly, 5 years ago. But anyway, still paying for it. Hey, Hobbo, what else is happening in sim circles for you, please?
Just the usual stuff for me. I'm still running pretty frequently in the supercars, trying to keep as sharp as I can in them. But I'm not spending a lot of time in the sim, really. I mean, by my own standards. I think I said this last time we spoke. So a couple of nights a week, and that's about it for me. And just trying to keep enjoying it. I mean, that's what it's always about for me, having fun. So we'll see what happens. I've been racing in some late models, like a Trans Am style thing, and that's been pretty good fun. And I know that all started with the GSRC a long time ago, some super late model road course racing many, many seasons ago. And as soon as something like that popped up again, I jumped on it because that sounds like good fun. And I was actually, one of the reasons I jumped in here tonight was just to have a listen and sneak peek at what's going on with the calendar to see how far we are away from the next season. So sounds like we're not too far away. We'll see what pops up on that.
2 weeks.
This is week 8 of term 2, Hobbo. So grand final week is only a fortnight away. We wrap up June 23. We reconvene Monday, July 10. So the new season is not too far away at all.
Yeah, about a month away then. All right, well, that's good. I thought I'd touch base and see where that was all at. So I always look forward to the schedule so I can see all the things that don't work for me to race.
Not going to lie, that 2-week break is going to come in bloody handy for me, but the restart of the season is not conveniently placed either. I think I'll be doing the first week from Dad's garage in Cessnock, actually, the first night of week 1 of term 3, as that is Sydney 300 week, but we'll wait and see on that. Very nicely done. Always good to catch up with you, Mr. Hobson. Bad luck tonight, but keep persevering with it, and we look forward to seeing what you bring to the table somewhere down the line.
I look forward to it.
And don't forget, whenever we've got a race of champions on again, you're getting an invite because the incumbent, the defending champion, can't not get an invite.
Yeah, I look forward to that too.
All right, very nicely done. There he is, the great man, Brenton Hobson. And before that, of course, Matty Dench. Anything else to ask Matty while he's here, Grant?
No, I think we covered that up pretty well.
We'll let Matty go then as well, because I'm somewhat drawing blanks tonight, unfortunately. I'm just not there. Denchy, thank you as always, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks everyone. We'll catch everyone next week.
We've got Ben Pedersen, Jordan Malcolm, Kai Ardley and Corey Lazarus standing on by. So we've got both race winners in the house, but I'm going to get to them last because Jordan Malcolm and Kai Ardley were here first and they've been waiting patiently. Jordan Malcolm, geez. What a charge in that second race, mate, from 16th up into 13th, but into third, up 13 spots, I should say. But, mate, it's always fraught with danger, this place.
Yeah, exactly right. You're getting buried down in 16th. Made the no pit stop strategy work. Just didn't have the pace to drive through the field, so I had to try something different.
Exactly right. And trying something different seemed to work for you, mate. You got there in the end, up onto the podium, and a nice result and a needed result as well. I mean, it's such a hard championship, this one, when people like Brenton Hobson are struggling with the car. We know you have, I think you've missed a couple of rounds along the way here too as well, but nice to see that you've still got the form when you do arrive and drive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good fun, these cars. Just I like Brenton Hobson. Don't like how it drives, really. Just I like it, but I don't like the understeer in it. So no, it's good fun though. Yeah, tonight just third was pretty good. Could have been a win if we didn't have that incident in race 1, but apart from that, yeah, it was a good night.
Yeah, the incident in race 1, so many people tripped up tonight, so many people got caught up in incidents, whether it was their fault or not. Just the nature of Long Beach, really.
Yeah, exactly right. I know a couple of my teammates were a bit in the wars as well, so it's just nature of the game, a bit chaotic on the couple of starts. Should have been a second safety car as well, but
Yeah,
we thought that might have been the case. Yeah, we were a little bit surprised it wasn't.
On that second start, I saw Joe 90 degrees and aiming for me. I was just like, oh no, here we go. And then I thought it was going to be hell broken loose, and I saw a couple of dots stopped on the track map I had, so I thought for sure a safety car was coming out.
Very nicely done. We were thinking the same thing, mate. We were already banking on it essentially as soon as we saw how many cars were parked. But I think race control may not wanted to have thrown the caution in both races if they could have helped it. I mean, it's always one of those ones, isn't it? You've got to try and get through here in as damage limited mode or damage limited way as possible. You've done that pretty well. Because at least you've finished both races. Not everyone can say the same thing. We did have a bit of an attrition rate there in that second race. The field was huge. That compounded the problem because obviously it doesn't take long for a 2, 3, 4 car. You know, it just builds up. That's just Long Beach. But now we can focus on these next 2 weeks. GT4 is still well and truly there for the taking, mate. And then, of course, obviously we've got 2 great rounds of the Porsches to come. Germany and then Austria.
Yeah, I think I'll focus on the GT4s. There's my moment with the lap car. Gave me a 4X there, but
oh no.
Yeah, but apart from that, yeah, we'll focus on GT4s. Oran Park should favour my little Porsche, and then Sandown should be pretty even between the Merc and the Porsche, I think. So it'll be a showdown, I reckon.
All right, very nicely done. And how are you finding the Porsche? I mean, obviously, because we know you've had a run in the Ford GT. We know you're running in the GT4 as well. How are you handling the Porsche? Are you struggling with it in any way, shape, or form, or are you liking the car to drive?
I struggle to get pace out of it. I don't like how it drives. I just show up to a track that I kind of like, so that's what I've been doing this season. But no, I don't think I'm too far off. It's just, yeah, you got people in here like Denshi who drive this in GT3 basically all day, every day, so you're not going to be on the pace of them. So that's why I like my little GT4 a little bit better.
All right, very nicely done. Anything for Jordan while we've still got him, Grant?
No, just when you look at the points for the GT4s, you've got to remember that Jordan turned up in his beloved McLaren at the start of the season, as I did, and very quickly realised it was way off the pace, so jumped into the Porsche. He jumped into the Porsche at that stage, so that'll be, I expect, his drop round for half points there, or if he's not at it worse than that. But yeah, I think the reason there's no love for the McLaren in GT4 is exactly that. It's been hobbled a little bit too much. A couple of too many cans in the Just Married display behind it. But no, he's going great and really enjoying the GT4 Championship, watching it. I just couldn't be bothered changing cars and battling through the season in that fashion, so that's why I've not reappeared. But no, he's going well, and it's always good to have Jordan in the server, and he's always good to watch.
Oh, very nicely done. Jordan, thanks, mate. Have a great weekend. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Kai Ardley, to you. by the looks of it, am I reading this correctly? 2 fifth-place finishes tonight, if nothing but consistent?
Yeah, nothing too great. I didn't feel very comfortable in the car. I've been doing officials all week in it and felt great, and then just something about it tonight just did not click. The brakes just felt a bit wonky and stuff. No, it's excuses, but just didn't feel great. Throughout practice, didn't get many laps in and stuff, but not a bad recovery there in the end. Did a couple of decent moves, and yeah, nothing to write home about.
All right, very nicely done. That being said, you kept your nose clean, you stayed out of trouble. And as far as the championship pitch is concerned, you needed to stay ahead of Shane Wright tonight. He's encountered a night where he's finished 3rd and 6th. So if nothing, it's still going to be there for the taking in the battle for 3rd in the championship. Everything to play for, very similarly to the battle for 1st in the championship. You two are in for a grudge match, a slanging match over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a decent battle. I'm pretty annoyed about all the drop point thing because I built a decent margin and that got completely taken away and we're back down on par with each other, so that's pretty annoying. But I guess that's a good way of, if you have a bad round, you can sort of stay in contention. So it's got a point to it, but it's always a bit annoying working for something and having it taken away. But it'll be hard to stay ahead. We're very evenly matched on pace. Managed to get a few points on him tonight, which is good. And then I think Sam sort of closed the gap up, but it'll be a really tight race between us for 3rd.
All right, very nicely done. Now, keeping those clean, damage limitation, all that stuff tonight, even though you weren't quite 100% comfortable, you've ticked the boxes required to at least be still in the fight for that 3rd place on the podium. So even though it might not necessarily been anything too fancy, too flash, you're still in the race, and that probably is the bigger picture here. Yeah,
I mean, just Long Beach is always a track where you're sort of a bit worried, regardless of your pace, because someone can absolutely just send it from a mile back and take out half the field. So you could have no relevance, like no relation to the crash at all. But yeah, it's really a track where you just have to limit your damage if something goes wrong, and if you don't have any pace, you sort of just got to stay put with where you are.
Yeah, it's also the sort of track you can come around any of those blind corners and find someone completely across the track and hopefully not moving, but often the case that they'll be trying to either get out of your way or finding themselves getting in your way. But it's a challenge, this track, that's for sure.
Yeah, I had Jeff in my ear the whole time. He was screaming at me saying car stopped on the left and stuff, so that was helpful. There was never a car stopped there by the time I got there though, so wasn't very useful, but yeah, you don't want to catch someone around a corner. I mean, that's why I just took it so easy into turn 1. Whenever I saw the slightest little bit of smoke, I just went a little bit harder on the brakes just in case, because if someone catches the wall there, you're going to hit them if you don't slow down soon enough.
Absolutely, and you can never be sure where they are, whether they've careened back across the track and they're facing the wrong way on the left side, or if they're in the wall down here, or what's going on. It's a bugger.
Exactly. I mean, it's an unpredictable track. Like if you hit the wall with one part of your car and then another, you'll have 2 completely different crashes. So there's no predictability to any incident here.
Correct.
All right. Very nicely done. Kai, just going back to you for a moment. What are your thoughts on the next 2 weeks, mate? Obviously, Hockenheim 60 minutes and then the triple treat at the Red Bull Ring.
I haven't driven those tracks since I think last time I actually raced this series, which was with the 991. So not too familiar with them at the moment, but I'll get back with them. So I've got a week till the next race, so no shortage of time to practice for that. But yeah, should be decent races. I mean, they're both pretty good racetracks. Unlike a couple of the other tracks where it's a bit hard to pass, these ones they provide a lot of racing opportunities and good overtaking spots. And which of those is probably your preferred circuit, mate? I'd probably go with Hockenheim. I think Red Bull Ring's just a bit of a strange track. It's a bit unique in its characteristics. I do like it, but I think Hockenheim's probably the better one out of the both.
And the 3 sprint races is going to make that final round very interesting, because we know how much drama there can be at the start, and then with the invert, and it can all go very pear-shaped very quickly with the sprint. Everyone seems to be a little bit twitchy, and so you've got to keep your nose clean, especially that 3rd round third sprint will have double points as well, so it's 4 races worth of points for that round 10.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be no shortage of door banging around there. Everyone will be going for any move they can sort of get a little sniff at. So yeah, it'll be a hard race.
Indeed. Pariana
Mate.
Starkus, talking about your voice there. He's known you for years.
Yeah, changed since Winton.
I was going to say he's going through the motions, going through the processes we all do as we age. Pariana Starkus. Hey, on the subject of the great man Pariana Starkus, he is going to be joining us trackside at the Pitch Partner Sydney 300 in 5 weeks' time. Grant Gill, already 46 entries lodged for that event, and it is going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm delighted to say that I'll be going down to commentate it again. If any GSRC members are in the area and fancy a day at the racetrack, we look forward to seeing you there, Sydney Motorsport Park. Very nicely done. In the meantime, thank you, Kai Ardley. Well done, mate. Appreciate that.
No problem. Thanks, Ross.
Let's bring Ben Pedersen and also Corey Lazarus into the chat now. Benny, what about that, eh?
Yeah, mate, it was good. It was good fun.
It looked like fantastic fun. We stood the pressure of Matty Dench in the closing stages there, but you controlled that race very well from the outset. You got a good start. You pressed forward from 4th up after finishing 7th in race 1, pressed up into the lead early in the piece, controlled the race, contained the advantage or maintained the advantage, and then even though you had one of the best in the business breathing down your neck, you applied a couple of the tricks of the trade to keep him behind you and win one of the great races of your Porsche Cup career, no doubt.
Yeah, no, very happy to win there, and I've had plenty of practice at Woolworths parking, so I thought I'd put that to practice today. But yeah. Just got to ask: does his car go to the same dentist as mine?
Let's see. Here's Kai's car.
Just have a look. Has he got teeth on the front of his as well? I think he does.
Yeah, I'll just. Yeah, no. It looks like his been through a bit of rough spell, and yours is. Oh yeah, very similar.
I want to have a sneaky look at the paint on.
Hey, actually, just quickly, Benny, what about the news this week with, I just noticed the words PGA or the letters PGA on your bonnet there. What about the news this week? How are you feeling about that?
Well, I don't have a huge input. I haven't played on the professional circuits for 5 years now, but I'm sure it's a shock to many, especially the guys that turned down money.
Yes.
So that they would be stinging, absolutely stinging. But look, it was bound to happen. I know Greg Norman ruffled some feathers, but he's always wanted to push for a world tour because the PGA Tour has always had a bit of a monopoly on everything, which is, I mean, it's a great tour. It's the best, but at the expense of everywhere else, really. I mean, you've only got the Euro Tour and the Japanese Tour that really competes with it. So I think it'll be a good thing in the end, but it's pretty turbulent political times with that, though, that's for sure.
Well, it's Super League and NRL or ARL all over again, isn't it? The guys get paid a hell of a lot of money to break away and then just come back and join the fold. Now all's forgiven, it seems, but strange times, and it's very much greenwashing the Saudi way they go about the world and their internal issues, but it seems this world's all built on how many dollars you got in your pocket, and they've got more than all of us. They've got all of ours, in fact.
Yeah, look, money talks, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get too involved in a political conversation on a live stream, guys. We can talk about religion, though, if you'd like, if you want to go down that road as well.
Oh, no, let's not.
What about gender identity?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously there is something that I noticed that you were talking about in all of that, because you were saying that you hadn't been on the professional circuit for 5 years. So, when did iRacing come into your life, as opposed to, because obviously there's been a transition there at some point from golf into sim racing, mate?
Yeah, I've got a little bit of an addictive personality, so when I apply myself to something, I go balls deep per se. But I sort of been, I've had a couple of race cars in my years and had a bit of fun, with some club stuff and hill climbs. But I've been doing sim stuff since back in the Papyrus days. It wasn't until probably 2017 though that I did sign up for iRacing, but I hadn't really used it a whole lot. It was more of a gimmick for me and a fleeting gimmick because obviously I didn't have a lot of time. And about 2020, I sort of jumped on and sort of got semi-addicted. And I met a great bunch of guys, and for some reason I've just loved driving the Porsche. And I'm still waiting for my application to go through to join the Blackout team, by the way. Of course, that's directed at you, pal.
Yeah, I think you and Dylan are going to team up.
Yeah, but interesting though that the new sort of damage model and the car handled differently this race though. Like since we had the update, it was a little bit different.
No, you've just nailed a point. I didn't even think of that, Grant, because all the other big things that come with the iRacing updates, there's always little niggles to these race cars. I didn't even think of that, Benny. Good point.
Yeah, it was not just that too, because like as you boys know, playing VR, it was I've got to go through the whole process of setting it up to keep the frames constant, because otherwise it's just a nightmare and you feel like you want to vomit. But it's done something weird this update. Like it's not performing like the last update did, so there's still some tweaking to be done, but look, having a ball there.
I was going to say, only your second appearance in the Porsche Cup, I'm just catching up on the results from last week as well, because I wasn't here, but 13th and 2nd last week, and then of course a 7th and a 1st this week, mate, so you've hit the ground running.
Oh look, yeah, I've missed a lot this year because I've been away, but this next season coming up I'll be able to race and everything. Definitely missed a lot. But I did a few early ones. I think it was last season that I was. Is this the second season? I don't even know, mate.
Yeah, 23B. Yeah, probably.
You were here last year, Benny. You were in there last season.
Yeah, well, yeah. Obviously in spirit, but not mind.
You won round 1 at Rutskogan, remember?
No. So that's probably why I excelled at some sports, especially golf. Like I hit a bad shot, I forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've had a misspent youth too, so that's probably a big factor. Haven't we all though?
Nothing comes for free, does it?
No, at all.
You got to pay the invoice sooner or later.
Exactly right. And Ben, now that we've got you here, I take it we've got you for the next 2 weeks as well. You'll see out the rest of the season.
100%. Yeah,
it's always fun, isn't it, Grant? Because when you've got someone like Ben coming in that isn't in championship contention, that can be a race contender, just throwing that cat up amongst the pigeons.
Oh, yeah. And, especially if he's placed in between our main protagonists.
Yeah.
But, yes, it's good to have him. And, so...
I take donations, just FYI.
Sorry, mate?
Take donations.
I'll take donations if you like.
So do we all. The GSRC is now a charity. No. Benny, what are your thoughts on Hockenheim and Red Bull Ring, mate?
I like both of them. I'm probably a bit stronger at Red Bull, but I'm not too bad at both of them, so I'm looking forward to them. I don't think I'll be as quick as Dench there, though. I've seen some of his times there. He's just a lightning bolt.
He is.
I'm still dripping with sweat actually now from watching him. Actually, it was nice to see the front of his car for a change. I hadn't seen it before.
Yeah, too true.
How'd you handle those 2 whacks on the rear that you caught from Denchi, knowing that they were probably coming because of the way you tactically parked the car and drove those corners, knowing that he was right there and knowing that was the only way that you could probably, put a dent in his plan to attack and maybe potentially find a way by you. You did everything you could, and it pulled it off beautifully, I might add, to keep him at bay.
Yeah, well, look, I don't mind a bit of affection between blokes, and if he wants to give me a few kisses on the rear, that's fine.
Alrighty.
I think we'll move on that note. Ben, thank you, mate. Appreciate that.
Only in jest. It's just nice to beat him. It's very rare.
We did.
That's exactly right. Take your victories while you can. Yeah, enjoy these moments while you can. Hey, well done, mate. Congratulations again, and looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table next time we go racing. This time next week.
All right, sounds good, guys. I'll see you there. And later, cause, mate. Good race. First one.
See you, buddy. Have a good one.
Good on you,
Corey Lazarus, well done. Brilliant performance from you, as per usual. What great... I mean, obviously the second race we'll get to in a moment. But that first race, you were the beneficiary of Denchi's moment down at turn 1, and you made him pay coming through to take the win. Sure, he got back to 13th, but that really swung the momentum and the pendulum in this championship fight. Then, second race, he comes out and, gets up to second, and you're stuck down there in 7th. Just talk us through race 1, and then we'll get to race 2.
Okay, so race 1 didn't really get a very good quali, so I was hoping for a little bit faster. We're definitely going faster through the week. I just made a mistake and put it in the wall, so I had to reset and lost a lap. And then, it just wasn't good enough in quali. But race 1 was, Sam did his part for us and got us up into second. And then, it was tight with Denchi on the restart. I tried to just sit right on his bumper and then get in his mirrors going down into turn 1. And, just the beneficiary of him. I don't know, maybe he looked in his mirror at the wrong time, or it's just the cold tyres, or he just missed his marker. But once he went off, it was just making sure that we finished the race as high as we could.
Yeah, he said he was just a little bit offline, a little bit wide there, and the brakes didn't bite as he would have liked them to. So rather than putting it into the wall and taking the whole field out, he exited stage right and had no option but to wait for everyone to fly by.
Yeah, it shows that he's human.
Yes.
He makes mistakes just like the rest of us.
Yes.
So it's
not as often.
Yeah, look. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right, mate. Like I've said before in the interviews, to be in contention for a championship, you have to ride your luck, and it's these little moments which you have to take with both hands.
Absolutely.
How are you feeling now? Because the next 2 weeks, every braking marker, every acceleration point, every turning point comes into question because of how tight this championship race is, mate. Are you feeling the pressure? Are you feeling nervous? Because at the end of the day, what's at stake here is either a 6th consecutive title for Denchi, or someone like you coming into the fold and ending one of the great winning streaks in GSRC history.
Yeah, there's no pressure on me. I'm come from nowhere to be where we are, and you're right about the concentration required for the next couple of weeks. It's going to be immense for sure, but just certainly not afraid of the hard work to do it and keep the pressure on. I mean, I've got really nothing to lose, so it'll be balls out for us, working as hard as we can to try and get the result.
Have to be very proud of the way things have gone, though, mate. Throughout the course of this season, it has been quite incredible. I mean, sure, Denchi's tripped up on a couple of occasions, got a couple of penalties on others. But for you guys to maintain your consistency and your performances week in, week out, so far, so good.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're definitely proud, mate, for sure. Like we've said it before, we're relatively new to the whole game. And it's only the hard work and dedication, the time and the seat that's really got us to this position, to be in the position to have a battle. So yeah, we're definitely proud. It's been a really good championship so far, and we'll be holding nothing back for the last 2 rounds. We'll be putting everything into it.
Absolutely. And I guess there's an invert in that third and final. That second of the 3 races at the Red Bull Ring. Next week, though, the Hockenheim Ring, a 60-minute out-and-out slogfight.
Yeah, no doubt. Indeed, we'll need some luck again if we are to get a result, because we all know how good Matty is with his fuel saving and his pit stops. So we will just, we'll be trying as hard as we possibly can, willing to sacrifice some points in the enduro, and then try and make it up in the last round for sure.
Hey, Cause, on that note though, has the new update, have they changed how the clutch reacts? Because it was the boys that racing, it was Dylan Shepherd saying that in the real race car, if you're clutching at 6, on every straight, it's going to just burn out within 2 laps.
I don't think it's changing the game. This week I did a hell of a lot of practice for qualifying on this track here, and that included clutching on the out lap, clutching on the cool down laps, and just to save the fuel, and it did save the fuel, and there was no adverse effects on the car. That pre and post update, I don't think has made any difference to the clutch.
That's a shame because I don't know how to go slow.
I love it. Hey, we should also point out Corey's staying up well past midnight on the other side of the ditch, as he so often does on a Thursday night, to have a chat to us here. So we do greatly appreciate that. It's been an incredible championship thus far. We are looking forward to seeing what you blokes bring to the table in the final couple of weeks of the season. Particularly you now, Ben, throwing the cat amongst the pigeons, mate. That throws up a nice little ingredient of excitement for us to look forward to. Corey, what would this mean to you, mate, if you could pull this off and take the championship?
It's a good question. I really haven't thought about that.
Nice one, Zach, just to set him up for a total anxiety attack.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'll just be immensely proud, mate, for sure. I'd be over the moon. I'd be ecstatic. It'd be just reward for the amount of practice hours that we've put into it, whether it be officials or just hot lapping by myself, or just working with the guys in the team. If we were to take it, it would be huge, because we're looking at the Excel spreadsheet with the overall pace stats over the last 3 seasons, which I've been involved in. It's been a tremendous jump in pace. So if there was to be some reward like that, taking it out, I'd just be over the moon, mate, for sure.
Very nicely done. No, history awaits. I'm not even exaggerating on that front. Grant Gill knows why. History awaits if Matty Dench does not win this title. I mean, at the same time, history continues if he does, because it'll just extend the streak to 6 consecutive titles. So whatever the case, ladies and gentlemen, here is where you want to be the next 2 Thursday nights to watch how it all plays out, because it is going to be fascinating stuff. Corey, we won't hold you up any longer, mate. It's 10:30, 12:30 New Zealand, so we appreciate that, mate. Go well, good luck, well done tonight. Actually, one more before you go, just with regards to, because I know we covered off race 1, just with regards to race 2 there, fairly hectic time trying to get through there to get back to eventually 7th. Pass or fail in your regard? Could you have done more with that if everything had fallen into place a little bit better?
Oh, I think it was par for me. There was no bogeys and no birdies. It was. There's been a couple of times this season where I have won the first race and Denchi's not had a good race, but then the second race I've really let myself down with trying to get ahead too soon, too hard. So I really just wanted to keep it cool and finish the race this time with a decent points haul to close the gap. It was on par, mate. Because at the start of the race, Guy Leach had a massive dive down the inside, and he got it stopped and made some good positions and put me back a couple, and then damage mitigation for the rest of the race, just trying to finish it, because like I said, I've stung myself. I could be plenty more points up the ladder at the moment if I had just been patient earlier on in the year in the second races. So not too bad, not unhappy. A positive outlook on that one.
Still alive and kicking, and to be running second in the championship with a good gap back to third. You're in good shape, and we just hope all goes well. There's no unforeseen mishaps for either you or Matt, and you can just battle it out for on your own credits and on your own your own skills and wits, and bring us home to a fantastic conclusion to the championship.
Yeah, exactly, mate. That'll be the best outcome, just to have nice clean racing and may the best car win at the end. But just quickly, one more thing before we bail. I'm actually based in Brisbane, so I'm born in New Zealand and Sam's born in New Zealand, but I live in Brisbane and Sam lives in Melbourne.
Oh, well, my condolences.
Actually, we're not too far from each other, Zach.
No. That's not why I was saying it. It was just because when summer rolls around, you're actually 112 years and 3 hours behind New Zealand. So anyway, that's another story. Jesus. And also all your mates here in other progressive and civilized parts of the country will be bragging about a long weekend this weekend, and again we're left behind. Anyway,
Exactly right.
Zach,
Yeah.
I need some new ones.
Have I finished the bingo card,
No,
Grant?
I've already filled those ones in. I'm just waiting for the last couple. But
Oh, no.
it's getting on a bit, so we might wrap it up, huh?
We might wrap it up. Hey, Corey, well done, mate. Congratulations. Nice performance tonight. I don't know what it means for round honours because obviously there were so many varied results tonight. That will become clear in the light of day tomorrow when Adam Lavis has done the points matrix for us. Ben, well done. Great to see you rocking and rolling in here. Looking forward to more of that over the next couple of weeks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Same to you guys.
Cheers.
And Jordan Malcolm's still hanging in there as well, so we thank him
Just
once more
listening
too.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, nice
For
try.
having a chat and staying back with us post-race. Hey, Grant, your synopsis of the night. Hey, can I just say, we ticked the box tonight. 4 races, 4 different winners. Been a while since we've done that.
There you go. Yeah, no, it's been another terrific night's racing, and the Long Beach gave us what we were expecting. Some carnage and some good racing. Some people out of position and battling back through, and the production cars they were good fun. So the old FR500S is always a bit of a challenge, and Phillip Island up over Lukey Heights is always a good challenge, as is Siberia there. So good night's racing. Thursday continuing to live up to its credentials.
Yeah, exactly right. And we're looking forward to a fascinating final 2 weeks of the campaign here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. The Whitakers have one hand on the production car title, and Chris particularly. And then, of course, everything to play for here, a 2-horse race, an out-and-out fight between Matty Dench and potentially a change in the guard in Corey Lazarus. Let's have a look at what's... let's thank the sponsors. Let's plug them firstly, because without them, none of this happens. It is fair to say. So we are grateful for the support of the people at Waste Options, Blackout Electrical Solutions, Login Systems, West Orange Motors, Astute, something that actually just go back to Astute for a moment, because up here, especially, it's ironic that they're in East Brisbane because I have none of the above, finance, insurance or wealth, but that's another story for another. Oh, I do have health insurance. That's okay. Fisher and Door Lawyers, somewhere that I'm bound to end up as a client one day. And of course, Flash Graphics. Let's have a look at what's coming your way on the platforms. The Gentleman Sim Racing Club as Week 8 grinds to a close. It's been fun. Wings and Slicks tomorrow night to wrap it up. Road Atlanta in the USF 2000s. Sprint racing there for you. Saturday night, Mountain Men on the long weekend, again, for most of the country. In the Dallara P217s. That'll warm me up nicely for Le Mans.
Indeed.
Of course, on Saturday night, the Le Mans 24-hour getting underway at midnight. To Sunday morning, it'll go all the way to midnight Sunday night. Of course, MotoGP happens in between that too, so you'll be able to hop, skip and jump from one to the other. June 10, the Bathurst Mountain Men 200, the Dallara's 32 laps around the best real estate in the land. Next week, how good's that going to be? Round 9, if you don't mind, of Waste Options GT4 and GT3 Monday Night Motorsport. For the 4s, it's Oran Park, over 25 minutes, and that we'll squeeze a lot of laps into that. Don't worry about that. Then, of course, on to GT3 from Mount Panorama Bathurst. That'll be good fun, and we'll be bringing the AM split on that occasion, actually, according to Adam Lavis. So on air 8, on air 7. Oh no, on air 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. The racing from 7:35. The main course from 8:30. Tuesday night, the up-and-comers. You heard the breaking news here earlier. Adam Tice, Sam Chapman, they'll be with you. And it'll be heat racing in the Mustangs. It was good tonight. It'll be equally as good, I'm sure, on Tuesday night, the up-and-comers. June 13 from a venue yet to be confirmed. So join the boys for that. June 14, Wednesday night motorsport. Charlotte Roval for the Formula Fords, and then of course the V8 Supercars from Sandown, and then of course we're back next Thursday night, Grant Gill and I, to bring you all the action of the Production Car Challenge Winton Raceway first up for them, for the Renault Clio Cup cars, and I'll be looking forward to seeing the back of that from all reports. And then that'll be 2 sprint races there, and then on to the Hockenheim Ring for 60 minutes as opposed to the 40 or 45 that we've had every other week of the season thus far. So a longer night at the office next Thursday night, hence why getting out of here at 10:30 doesn't seem like a bad idea tonight. But the final 60-minute race of the campaign, there's only been 2 of them. And, of course, then we get into super sprint mode next week. That's it from us. We're done. Hope you enjoyed it. Platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Don't forget, the GSRC GT3 Endurance Championship continues for the final 8 hour of this half of the campaign, the first season of 2023, semester 1 as we like to call it. 8 hours around Mount Panorama Bathurst Sunday, June 25. Join Liam Banks and Sam Chapman for that. And then, of course, gsrcmerch.myshopify.com for all your merch requirements. Get amongst that.
And just
as,
worth mentioning,
the season unfolds.
Yeah, just worth mentioning, Zach, there'll be some overtime for the V8 supercars. Last night's race couldn't go ahead because of iRacing's updates. So I think tonight's race will go on to the first week of the holidays, or it'll be bumped down. I'll just have a
that'll be June 28th, if that is the case. That everything will knock back a week. We've done that before with Monday nights and Wednesday nights, so nothing new there.
This round of V8s will be pushed to week 10, with week 10 Bathurst pushed to week 1 of the season break. So just something to keep. So
week 9 will stay as is.
Yes. Yeah, so
copy that.
Yeah,
all right. So week 8 becomes week 10. Week 10 becomes week 11. You can see what we've done there. Very good stuff. All right, very nicely done. We're done from the streets of Long Beach in California. Hope you enjoyed the coverage throughout the course of the evening on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Gee, that threw up some good fun. First up at Phillip Island in the Mustangs, and then here in the Porsches. Tantalising championship at play here. Equally as fascinating on a Monday night as well. And that's when we're next with you for an Aussie double. Look forward to your company for that and more. In the meantime, on behalf of Grant Gill and the entire broadcast, commentary and production team here at the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, I'm Zach Caban. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Go and enjoy the Test match cricket, because the World Test Championship finale continues right throughout the evening. Alex Carey on 48 at the moment. The Aussies 7 for 453, and they are going along nicely as the tail continues to wag. And as long as Alex Carey's there, who knows? They could have 2 South Aussies making centuries in the innings, but he's got to stay there a little bit longer, and he's got to ensure that his teammates just pad the ball around nicely and stay there with him and let him be the heavy hitter on the run scoring department. And of course, repeating earlier, St Kilda too good in the AFL, and of course in the NRL, the West Tigers went down to the Gold Coast Titans 28-12. So it's been a good night. It's the start of a massive couple of months of sport. What a great time to be alive. On behalf of the crew here, have a great weekend, everybody, be it a long one or a short one, and we'll see you Monday night. Bye for now.